Yo, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Been a while since I've done a boxing stream, so I thought, why not? Why not? I've got a couple of spare hours, so yeah, why not do a live stream talking about good old boxing? Have to be honest, it feels like not too much is happening in boxing right now. There's not many fights I'm looking forward to. Usyk versus Fury is one. Um, Beterbiev Bivol is another. Plus the undercard for that fight as well, the Matchroom Queensbury 5v5. Aside from that, I'm kind of struggling, I'm not going to lie. I don't know whether it's me, but boxing in 2024 has seemed stop-start, a little dull. I don't know. It seems like... I don't know. What fight of consequence has happened in 2024 so far? It feels like nothing's happened. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I just don't remember. JD, what's up? Say Less, what's up? J7, what's up? How you guys doing? But yeah, boxing right now, man, it's been hard to make content because a lot of the shit that's going on, I just don't really care about, to tell you the truth. Once upon a time, I would talk about all sorts of fights, like random ass fucking prospect fights in Russia, but bro, these days, man, I don't know. Yes, that's a good fight, actually. Wardley versus Fraser Clark. That fight goes down next weekend in the UK. That's on Sunday, I believe, next weekend. Or this weekend coming, sorry. I expect Wardley to take out Clark inside 6 rounds. Clark's a fleshy 270-pounder, super average heavyweight. Yeah, I agree. I think he will beat Clark. I don't think it's going to be quite so early, but I think Wardley wins. Yeah, Haney Garcia, I'll be real, bro. All that nonsense aside with Ryan Garcia, I think that fight is going to be one-sided. Ryan's got power, he's got speed, so listen, he could land a shot, I guess. But in terms of ability, in terms of boxing skill, I think Ryan leaves way too many openings for Devin Haney. I wouldn't be shocked if Devin Haney stops Ryan Garcia. I know Devin Haney can't punch, I get it, but Ryan Garcia really has no defense at all. I don't think he's the toughest kid in the world. I think he's got, well, he does have quit in him. I wouldn't be shocked if Devin Haney stops Ryan Garcia. Really wouldn't be shocked in the slightest. Yeah, what's up, Jordan? Hope you're well, mate. Boxing is kind of dead. Yeah, kind of dead at the moment. Fury Usyk, can't wait. Also, Beterbiev Bivol. Yeah, bro, they're the only 2 fights like I have on my calendar and I won't miss. Everything else right now, I could like live without. Inoue, Inoue Neri. Listen, I like Naoya Inoue, and Luis Neri is a decent fighter, but I expect that fight to go one way, to be honest. I expect it to go one way. It's a decent fight, but, you know, nothing crazy. I expect Inoue to win comfortably. Decent, yeah. I actually prefer this fight to Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman, which was the original fight. I prefer Fundora. I know Fundora got knocked out in his last fight, but the way I look at it is, if Sebastian Fundora fought Keith Thurman, who would win at 154? I would pick Fundora to beat Keith Thurman. Fundora's a big dude. He's heavy, throws a lot of punches, very aggressive. I think Fundora Tszyu is a better fight. Not looking forward to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, no sir. Tank versus Frank, could care less. Frank Martin is, he's an all right boxer, but he's all right. That's really it. He's all right. Nothing special. Decent skills, but nothing spectacular. No real power. He's going to get knocked out by Tank. It's a foregone conclusion, in my opinion. What's up, G-Man? Disturbingly Wicked. How you doing, bro? I've been watching less UFC fights recently. Been paying less attention to MMA. They need that one big star again. I don't think UFC... I don't know, man. Speaking of UFC, man, have you seen Conor McGregor? He is moving mad right now. Conor McGregor. Like, I've not seen a clearer example of a guy just going off the rails. That Conor McGregor story is going to end badly. That's going to end badly. He is fucking drugged up to shit. And when you see someone like that, you know, Conor McGregor has like this, still has this hardcore fan base. And to see these people in denial about Conor McGregor, about him being an addict, because he's clearly coked up, coked out of his eyeballs. When he comes back, if he comes back, he is going to get fucking destroyed. Like, brutally. He is going to get annihilated. He can take all the roids in the world. Nothing's going to help Conor McGregor come back. He's done. He's absolutely done. Yeah, big up G-Man every time. Devon could stop Ryan to the body. I agree. Yeah, G-Man, I said the same thing. Like, when Tony Bellew is basically writing you off, you know you're done. Because Tony Bellew will play the matchroom propaganda fucking... he will be the matchroom propagandist happily, but even he can't do it for Campbell Hatton. Campbell Hatton is what he is what he is, man. He has no ability at all. Not only does he lack boxing ability, like technical skills, he started late. Not many amateur fights. We get it, but Campbell Hatton has so little physical ability to make up for it. He's not fast. He doesn't hit hard. His gas tank is mediocre at best. Zero reaction time. Slow feet. He's not an athlete. Campbell Hatton's not an athlete. You look at Campbell Hatton. Yeah, he gets himself in good condition aesthetically, but he's not an athlete at all. He is awful. Absolutely awful. Shouldn't be fighting, to be honest. Should not be fighting on TV, at least. Yeah, listen, man, I think Ryan's done. He's another one clearly been on drugs or something, because he's not intelligent enough to come up with this marketing strategy that he's that some people are saying it is. Ryan Garcia's voice has changed. You know, his mannerisms have changed. He's got this weird, like, nervous tick now. If you watch his interviews from, like, the last 2-3 months, he's got this weird, like, tick now. Like, he's always on edge. He's on something as well. Ryan Garcia is not going to beat Devin Haney. It's not going to be competitive. Yeah, bro. Are you talking about Garcia versus Haney? Gabe Lopez. Yeah, $300 for nosebleeds. Yeah, bro, exactly. If Campbell Hatton has any work ethic, he won't retire and will fight on small hall shows. Yeah, I agree. For a couple of years. Yeah, I totally agree. I agree. If he wants to continue and he genuinely wants to box, Campbell Hatton should take a couple of years out, not on TV, and box on small hall shows. That's what he should do, because right now he's not good enough to be on televised shows for a major promoter. He's not good enough. And aside from this last fight he lost, none of his fights have been entertaining. Watching Campbell Hatton fight is like watching a female, honestly. He's so fucking boring. Boxer actually have a decent show this weekend. Yeah, Wardley versus Fraser Clark. Chris Congo versus Florian Marku. That's a decent fight as well. There's a couple of good fights on that card. Yeah, yeah. McGregor loves that nose candy, but he's in a bad way now. Like I've seen cokeheads, but he is off on the deep end. Like he is Scarface levels. That story isn't going to end well. I'm telling you, if he doesn't get help. Great question. If Smith doesn't fight Azim, what do you think? O'Hara versus Dalton? I think they could use that as like a mark in time fight. O'Hara's going to talk a bit of shit. O'Hara, you know, the public or the boxing public know O'Hara. So they could do that fight. But if it's not Azim next, honestly, why not someone like Jose Ramirez? Jose Ramirez has a fight coming up, a stay busy fight, a tune-up fight. He's fighting Rances Barthélemy, or whatever his name was. Why not fight Jose Ramirez? I think that would be a decent fight for him. Yeah. Yeah, McGregor is the perfect example of the saying that money doesn't change a person, it merely amplifies who they are. And Conor McGregor is an absolute degenerate scumbag, a bully, a thug, and a hedonistic asshole. That's what Conor McGregor is. And, you know, the money, the quick fame has only exasperated it. That's it. Yeah, Fundora's live, sweet G97. Fundora's live. And like you said, man, you can't really prepare for a guy like Fundora. He's so big, he's so long. Getting sparring for a guy like that's not easy. I don't think it matters with Ryan Garcia, Josh, bro. I really don't. Ryan Garcia is a pussy in comparison to pro boxing. In comparison to like elite pro fighters, he's a pussycat. He's a drug addict. He's not focused. And that's clear with his ramblings. What's up, sweet G97? Yeah, I think so as well, man. I think they're going to try and set up a robbery in that Usyk fight, Usyk Fury. Conor was the best UFC fighter to watch. See, to me, Conor McGregor, listen, when Conor came along, he was, don't get me wrong, Conor McGregor was entertaining and his trash talk served a purpose because it actually worked. Like, you can't say he never got under Aldo's skin. Like, he bullied Aldo and it showed in the fight. But now he's become a caricature of himself. And it's sad to watch. It really is. Was he the best UFC fighter to watch? I'm not a massive. I'm a casual UFC fan, MMA fan. His fight nights were great. You know, there was a lot of hype, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that. When you have that sort of profile, like, why wouldn't you want to be positive or try to push a positive message? It's like the whole Khabib Conor debate. Like, Conor McGregor fans act like Conor is on that level. Like, at least Khabib pushed a message that could be appropriated by everybody. Stoicism, mental toughness, you know, never say die attitude, regardless of what happened, you know, just stoic and solid. Okay, this is interesting. He's got a hearing in Dublin on allegations of rape. I've heard from years back. I remember as well when the story broke in 2019 and immediately his hardcores wouldn't accept it's happened with several girls. Yeah. So with things like that, when it's a one-off, you have to doubt it. But with Conor McGregor, bro, there's been so many allegations that I wouldn't be shocked. Plus, like I said, he's a coke addict with, you know, little self-control. What's up, Henry? How you doing? Hope you're well, champ. Honest question: if you trained as hard as you possibly could Could you win a Southern Area, Central Area title? And what weight class would you target? So I'm 6'1", 6'2" ish. I'm about 170-ish now. I guess I'd go down to middleweight. Could I win an area title? I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say yes. To be honest with you, I think that would be disrespectful. I think too much time has gone. If I was 24, 25, maybe I would be arrogant enough to say yes. What's up, Paul? How you doing, man? Yeah, it's been a while. Harley Ben versus Campbell Hatton. That is Campbell Hatton's level. McGregor's under Satan's watch now. Yep. Basically. Since it's literally the talk in boxing, who wins in a fair fight between Canelo and heavyweight Benavidez? Benavidez, bro. People are trying to debate this either way, right? The whole Benavidez Canelo situation. I'm one of those people. Listen, public perception rules the day, and Canelo is taking pelters right now in regards to the Benavidez situation. I rely on energy and intuition, and for me, it's been clear for a while Canelo doesn't want to fight Benavidez. To say Benavidez brings nothing to the table is utterly false. Like John Ryder did, he brought something to the table. Okay. Even Dimitri Bivol, he got his ass whooped against Bivol, but that fight did fuck all numbers. That fight did like 600k numbers. Are you telling me the Benavidez fight does less than Bivol? We all know the answer. There's just a lot of shills trying to protect Canelo. It's obvious he doesn't want that fight. I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about negotiations. I'm just talking about the energy from him. It's clear he doesn't want that fight. And he showed that before in his career. When he vacated that title against Golovkin, we saw how he was talking. Until, of course, Golovkin was starting to get old. Then he took it. We've seen it with Canelo. People act like Canelo doesn't have a track record. Or there's no historical evidence to point that he picks and chooses. We know he does. And since the Bivol fight, he really has picked and chose. Yeah, G-Man, I agree with Nordic's video. Yep. I think what they tried to do with Campbell, is they tried to build up a false record and cash him out, man, in a big fight, like a big pay-per-view fight. That's what they was trying with Campbell Hatton, but the reality is Campbell's not good enough to even get to British level, to where you could make like a big domestic fight with somebody. He's not good enough. And he'll get seriously hurt if he steps up at a certain level. Yeah, I noticed that as well, J7. The speech patterns since Floyd and Garcia hung out. Yeah, Ryan Garcia's speech patterns mimic Floyd's. Yep. Totally agree. The pauses in the sentences. Yeah, I agree. Boxing would be one of the best bases for MMA. If you got a guy like Virgil Ortiz when he was 19, 20 and then turned him into an MMA fighter, he'd be a dominant champion at 27, 29. Who knows, man? Maybe. That's one thing, though. Very few boxers start boxing and then go into MMA. So we don't really know, right? We don't really know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember Steve Collins Jr. because Steve Collins Jr. fought on Box Nation a couple of times when Frank was on Box Nation. And yeah, he wasn't great, but at least with Steve Collins Jr., he had the self-awareness to realize he wasn't that great. He gave it a go, he realized he wasn't great, and he called it a day. I've got no issue with Campbell Hatton trying to fight and trying to see how good he is. Great. But right now, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Yeah, Campbell doesn't have the athleticism of his dad. People forget about Ricky Hatton. One thing about Ricky Hatton was actually very athletically gifted because he wasn't a great boxer. Ricky Hatton had very quick feet. He was explosive. He was very, very strong for 140. Ricky Hatton physically was actually very impressive. People think about Ricky Hatton as this slow, come forward guy. He wasn't. He was a come forward guy, but he wasn't slow. He had a lot of attributes that really suited him and really gave him an advantage on certain opponents. Campbell doesn't have anything. I saw that, yeah, Ashley Lane beating Chris Bork, yep. Ashley Lane's been a tough journeyman for a long time, so listen, fair play to the guy for winning a British title. And again, we go back to Campbell Hatton, so Ashley Lane was a guy who, regardless of his record, when he was losing fights, he was still hungry. He wasn't coming from privilege. So he always had a incentive to improve and keep going. Campbell doesn't have that. We saw that in the post-fight interview when he said, I felt I won the early rounds and done enough to win. That's entitlement talking, because that fight was a clear James Flint fight. 8 rounds to 2, 7 rounds to 3 at best. Clear James Flint win. Campbell Hatton really is just nepotism and that's it. He has nothing else to offer. I don't like Conor Benn, but at least with Conor Benn, he has a bit of athleticism, a little bit of power. He can beat guys at a certain level. Campbell Hatton can't. Prime for prime, I'd have Broner and Khan stopping Haney. I think, listen, Khan is a question. Broner, no. Broner's more overrated than Haney has ever been. Khan is an interesting one, though. A prime Khan. I think a prime Khan gives Devin Haney fits, to be honest. Broner, no, doesn't throw enough punches. Feet are too slow. Conor Benn versus Manny Pacquiao, joke. Yeah, I agree, man. Conor Benn, the gravedigger. Conor Benn, I'll tell you what a fight. There was a fight that was talked about, that was mentioned recently, that I like for Conor Benn. And that is Conor Benn versus Mario Barrios. I think that's the perfect fight for Conor Benn, because Mario Barrios is not a top 5 guy, but you would say he's top 15, right? Tough guy, durable, been around, experienced, not shot though. I think Mario Barrios is the perfect opponent for Conor Benn right now. If we're talking about managing Conor Benn and giving him learning fights like we're going to give him a real career, Mario Barrios is ideal for Conor Benn, in my opinion. Do you think you'd be a better promoter than Ben Shalom? Yeah, Ben Shalom is a plant. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. That guy, man, I swear that guy's devoid of a soul. He's a strange, strange guy. Terrible promoter, awful. His shows are terrible as well. Ryan Garcia is overrated. I don't think any serious boxing fans rated him in terms of like ability, like technical ability at least. Ryan Garcia, when he was younger, I don't know about now, he had like raw, like what I would call raw potential. So speed, explosiveness, size, power. He had certain attributes that if he got with a good trainer and actually had the attitude to learn, he could have been a good fighter. But he doesn't have those things. He doesn't have that mindset, in my opinion. Ryan Garcia is a transformer. Are there any retired fighters who get held on a pedestal by most fans who you just never understood the hype for? Sergio Martinez is one for me. Was number 1 for a short period when 160 was bare. Great question. Now, in regards to style, in regards to being around at that time following boxing, Sergio Martinez was one of my favorite fighters, if not my favorite fighter, in the early 2010s. However, in retrospect, I tend to agree with your assessment on Sergio. He was around in a weak middleweight era We're talking about guys like Sergey Zinzurek, Darren Barker, Matthew Macklin, etc. He was around in a weak era. However, I will say he was ducked heavily at 154 before he went to 160. He had a couple of bad breaks. He was robbed by Paul Williams in their first fight. I think Martinez would have been more interesting at 154 back then, but nobody wanted to fight him. But I kind of agree on Sergio. Other fighters who are held in high regards that I think are overrated or overhyped? That's a great question. See, this is the issue of not doing these lives for a long time. That's a great question. That's a great question. That is a great question. I keep saying it, but that's a hard one. Can I pin this comment? If I favorite it, what happens? Okay, it's on the starred comment. I may come back to it because I can't think right now. That's a great question, Paul. Who do I like in the Elijah Garcia-Kyron Davis fight this weekend on the ZU undercard? Garcia is a top prospect and Kyron is a former title challenger. Yeah, Kyron Davis for David Benavidez. Tough guy, can look after himself. I think it's good matchmaking for Garcia because Kyron, is going to take him a few rounds. So Garcia should win. Whether he stops him or not, but I don't know. Conor McGregor is from a scummy part of Dublin. He's not changed a bit and never will. In Ireland, he's mostly disliked. The scum love him. And the United Ireland Sinn Féin crowd love him as well. Yeah. I've heard that a lot from Irish people who don't like Conor. Yeah, I don't understand the hype with Ebony Bridges. Listen, man, I don't like Barbie dolls. I don't like Barbie dolls. There's something about her that is very off-putting to me. I'll be real. There's something about her that is very off-putting. I don't find her attractive in the slightest. Like back in the day, if you asked me that question, I would say, yeah, she's not my type, but I would. I wouldn't even go there. I'm not capping. I wouldn't even go there. I feel like if you be with her or spend time with her, it's going to be a detrimental impact on your spiritual well-being. Put it that way. Not memeing either. Dalton versus Regis is another fight I like for Dalton. Yeah, I like Regis. I like Jose Ramirez. There's fights out there for him, but that's the level I'd look at. Who do I think Gage is going to fight next? That's a great question as well. I'd like to see him stay active. I would have said the Hrgovic fight, but I think Hrgovic is going to fight Dubois. I mean, who is there to fight if he were to stay busy right now? Dillian White, maybe? If he wants to stay busy, I'd make the Dillian White fight. Just take care of Dillian White. It's an easy fight and it makes money. If I were promoting AJ and he wanted a stay busy fight, it'd be Dillian White. As a boxing fan, if I say what I say, it's not going to happen. Like, I would like to see AJ fight fucking, I don't know, Jared Anderson or Bakadir Jalalov. That shit's not going to happen, though. So, yeah, the Sonny Martinez fight, yep. He lost that fight clearly. That was on the AJ Usyk first fight undercard, yep. I agree, Jordan, yeah. I think Moses Italma needs a step up. Yeah, I agree. So he fought a couple of journeymen a few fights ago that took him the distance. The guy who knocked out Matty Harris, who's a good journeyman, and another guy. He needs to fight guys like that again. Guys who can take him rounds. Yeah, I made a video about this a while ago. I think Saudi Arabia and their involvement in boxing in the short term will result in fights happening. But to me, the question is, how long are they going to be involved in boxing for? How long are they going to stick around? Is it just like a vanity project? Or a project with ulterior motives at hand? You know, like trying to put a certain image out there. And if they do go in the foreseeable, I think it's going to give a lot of fighters unrealistic purse demands, therefore resulting in certain fights not happening. Also, I think the Saudi element. Now, I don't really care about this personally, but a lot of people do. I think the Saudis being involved in boxing, especially British boxing, is going to take away from cards in the UK. I personally don't give a fuck about that because these days I don't go to boxing cards, so I could care less. But a lot of people will care. I think it's going to result in weaker shows in the UK. Because ultimately, the way I see it is these cards in Saudi Arabia happen at the same time as the UK. So I don't care about these fights being in Saudi Arabia. I'm all for it as long as it continues. But yeah, that's the interesting factor, Josh, is Devin's chin. I don't think Devin has the greatest chin. And if Ryan could catch him, you never know. Is Ryan coming to win, though, Josh? Is the question I'd ask you. Is Ryan coming to win, or is he going to lay down like he did against Tank? Oh, but the rehydration clause. He never had to sign that. He was a big enough star where he had leverage. He never had to sign that shit. But he took his money and he laid down like a good boy. Is he going to do the same against Devin? I think they're using Ryan to build Devin's name personally, because they know Devin can't sell for shit right now because he's got a beta style. Apart from a few nerds online, nobody wants to watch Devin Haney fight. That's the reality of the situation. Oh, he's an amazing boxer. He's boring. That's a reality. Plus, there's a bad taste in people's mouth from the Lomachenko fight. The average fan, the casual fan, doesn't want to watch a guy like Devin fight. He's not over, using a wrestling term. He's not over. So why not put him in there with Ryan Garcia, a guy with a fan base, a guy who generates interest, and a guy who's beatable? They're using Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is going to become a high-level jobber. That's what he is. I wouldn't be surprised, Sven Otkay. I wouldn't be surprised. I hope you're... By the way, Sven, I actually like Benavidez versus Vodzik. I like that fight a lot. I know Vodzik is past his best, but I wouldn't call him a shot fighter either. He's past his prime, but he's not a shot fighter. I saw him fight Ricards Bolotniks, who's a good European level fighter. And Vodzik took care of this guy swiftly, in good fashion. Bolotniks gave Buatsi a hard fight until he was stopped. Vodzik did a much better job on Bolotniks in comparison to Buatsi, who's being hyped as this next contender. So Vodzik still has something left. And listen, Benavidez is there to be hit. Vodzik hits very hard. I like that fight. But yeah, I agree. I hope if Benavidez beats Vodzik, I hope he fights the winner of Beterbiev Bivol. Yeah, JD, yeah, nearly at 8K, I think, right? I think we're on like 7.9 or something like that, 7,900 or something. Yeah, no chance Ryan comes to win. I agree, Josh. Yeah, Nordic was spot on about Hatton not even getting a following. He's an NPC on the mic, no charisma to speak of. Yeah, bro. like I said, I don't like Conor Ben, but you can see he has a bit of charisma. Like, you'd be deluded to say otherwise. And he had, even when he first turned pro, when he was so clumsy, so lackadaisical, you could still see there was like an element of explosiveness. There was something there, like to get to a certain level. There's nothing there with Campbell Hatton. Seriously. Best channels for British boxing. Nordic Warrior is one. G-Man Boxing is another. There's a few out there. Prograde joined MMA? Really, Okush? Yeah, Triple B as well. Triple B, yeah, base boxing basement. Yeah, he nearly beat Padre McCrory, yeah. Yeah, he made fucking Edgar Berlanga look like a destroyer. For people's main event on Saturday, Alan Babich versus Steve Robinson. Babich is a 4-1 favourite. Yeah, Babich is trash, but he has a good gas tank and he throws a lot of punches. Steve Robinson is really, really poor. He's a much bigger guy, but he's really poor. I think Babich more than likely gets on his chest and stops him. Accumulation. It'll be a fun fight for what it is, though. Yeah, I agree, Darren. I agree. Interesting fight, this. Lucas Rozansky versus Lawrence Okole for the Bridgerweight WBC title. If Rozansky gets on Okole's chest, Okole could have problems. I'd pick Okole to spoil his way to a win, but I'm not sure. I'd pick Okole, though, gun to my head. This comment made me laugh. I had to stop myself. The less said about Ben Shalom, the better. He looks like a psychopath, man. Like, he gives the psychopath, like, vibes. Zero. I don't know, man. It's like Michael Myers. The cold, blackest, deadest eyes. The devil's eyes. There's nothing there, man, with that guy at all. Yeah, I agree, Jordan. Yeah, Boxer are the problem with Azim not fighting Dalton Smith. Kind of feel for the guy because he's getting hate. Yeah, Ben Shalom is not doing his fighters any favors. He's not. He's not doing his fighters any favors at all. Weird guy, man. Weird guy. How he got in that position, I'll never know. I'll never know. Was he part of some sort of initiation or something? How's he there? Because his promotional company before was they basically just did like prize fighter type of tournaments. So low level fights, 3-rounders, like one tournament, one night kind of thing. And all of a sudden, he's the face of Sky Sports. Weird. Honestly, yeah, he doesn't look $1 million, but I think Sky would have been better off getting Mick Hennessy because Mick Hennessy knows boxing. I know you're going to come with me and say, oh, the Shades of Ali stuff. That's promoter talk. He knows boxing. If you actually look at who Mick Hennessy developed, he knows boxing. He knows talent to a certain degree. He's a much better boxing mind than Ben Shalom. Ben Shalom doesn't know a left hook from a fish hook. Ben Shalom gives me major cuck vibes. He's like a glass of water that sits around for days that nobody drinks. I don't know about that. Watch the Razor Ruddock fights, for example. They weren't easy fights. They weren't easy fights. Yeah, the main event is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the main event, Marku versus Congo. And I guess Babic versus Steve Robinson. Yeah, I'm the same year old Dar, but apparently the other heavyweight fight maybe. So apparently the second heavyweight fight may be between fighters that aren't aligned with Queensberry or Matchroom, which kind of defeats the object, but there you go. Johnny Fisher is another one. Gimmick fighter. Not going anywhere. Listen, I wouldn't put him in the same category as Hatton, but still, he's a gimmick fighter. Seems like a nice guy, though, but... AJ should fight Zhang. I would watch it, bro. I would watch it, but I think Zhang's going to fight Wilder. I think Wilder Zhang is even more exciting, I'll be real. I think Zhang Wilder is perfect because it's basically loser leaves town. That's what that fight is. It's loser leaves town. So Wilder Zhang, I'd like it. I'd like to see that fight. Callum Simpson, yeah. Yeah, he's a super middleweight, light heavyweight, right? He puts his shots. Do you know who he reminds me of stylistically a little bit? Benavidez, in regards to how he puts his shots together. Yeah, I don't want to see a Parker AJ rematch. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Fuck that shit. Toots, what's up, Toots? How you doing? I'll say Usyk by 10th or 11th round stoppage, or by UD. If not, then Fury will pull out with an injury or have some kind of travel visa, passport, or other problem entering Saudi Arabia. Yeah, bro. Listen. I'll believe that fight when it happens. Like after they've weighed in. But I get you, man. I feel apprehensive to get excited for it. Thoughts on Zhu versus Fundora? Yeah, we was talking about this earlier, Angel. For me, it's a much better fight than the Keith Thurman fight. It's a much better fight. And I said this on Twitter, and I saw a couple of people say, how can you say that? He's coming off a loss. Fundora's got knocked out in his last fight. Let's be real. If Fundora fought Keith Thurman right now at 154, I think we're all picking Fundora to beat Keith Thurman, right? Yeah, Fundora got knocked out in his last fight, but listen, he's a young kid. He's strong, throws a lot of punches. He's big. He's in his prime. He has unique attributes. I think it's a hard fight. I think it's a banana skin fight for Tim Tszyu. I really do. I like the fight. I like it a lot more than the Keith Thurman fight. Much more. I think it's a much better fight. I'm actually looking forward to it. That's a great fight. Tim Tszyu versus Terence Crawford. I feel like Terence Crawford now is getting to the age to where he's 36 years old. He's super inactive. He fights once a year. Like, he could fall off a cliff. I'd kind of want to see Terence fight again in between now and then to make a prediction. But honestly, when it comes to Tim Tszyu, low-key, I'd be more excited for a fucking fight, a fight with Israel Madrimov or Virgil Ortiz right now. It feels like Terence Crawford's on his way out. Like he doesn't really want to stick around much longer. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Salute, Seagull. What's up, man? It's something different, JD. It's something different. So if AJ wants to be active, why not? Why not Jared Anderson? Yeah, Wardley Anderson makes sense. Yeah, that'd be a good fight. Both guys are similar in terms of they rely on athletic ability. I'd rather, if that fight happened, I'd like Fabio to win, but I'm not sure. If Vodzik has 70% of what he used to have, he should beat Benavidez on points or late stoppage. Yeah, And that's why I like the fight, bro, because it's clear Vodzik isn't shot. Not from his last fight, at least. He's not shot. So that's interesting to me, that fight. Because we see that we do see Benavidez get lit up in fights, right? And if Vodzik connects like that, man, you never know. At light heavyweight, he's another guy. No interest in Shakur Stevenson. It feels like with Shakur Stevenson, his name is not bigger now than it was in like 2016 in Rio when he won the silver medal. It feels like he hasn't developed in regards to star power or name value. It feels like he's at the same level. I think there's a thing now in boxing where boxing fans, I think this whole slick boxer thing has died a death. I don't think people are interested in that style anymore after Floyd Mayweather, because these guys don't have what Floyd had. Whether you like Floyd or not is irrelevant. He could sell a fight. He could get people interested. He got people in their feelings. These guys can't do that. These guys can't do that. Hence why Devin can't sell against Prograis. He needs an opponent. Hence why he's fighting Ryan. And as for Shakur, again, I think anybody with the testosterone levels above an amoeba wouldn't want to watch that guy fight. Let's just be honest about it. Oh, it's beautiful boxing. It's so pretty and smooth and technical. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that. If you think that fucking De Los Santos fight was technical and beautiful, again, go to a doctor and get your blood fucking tested. Pussy. Nobody wants to see that guy fight. I don't. If he retired tomorrow, could care less. Quite frankly. Could care less. Yeah, bro, Ben Shalom, yeah. He gives off that creepy PE teacher vibe. Yeah, or some like creepy fucking like utility teacher or supply teacher. He's a strange guy. He's a strange guy. Occasionally, yeah, I watch that man sometimes. Carl Froch versus Tony Bellew. What are the chances it happens? Listen, bro, I'm taking Carl Froch on the cobbles, man. I like Carl Froch, man. People hate on Carl Froch. I like Carl Froch's deadpan approach. He's very dry with his humor. I like it. Yeah, okay, that's interesting with Prograis. That's interesting. The only person in boxing who comes close to Shalom's dead eyes is Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall, though, doesn't give me psychopath vibes. He looks it, right, if you look at him, but he doesn't have the energy of a psychopath. Honestly, he doesn't. He's kind of dull, but he seems like a nice guy. He doesn't come across that way, in like that sort of way. A psychopath always comes across as like predatory or parasitical. Jack Catterall doesn't come across that way outside of boxing. Ben Shalom does. It's a vibe as well as the look. And Jack Catterall doesn't have that vibe to him, in my opinion. Whereas Ben Shalom does. Just has that parasitical kind of get his hooks in type of vibe. Something about that guy I don't trust at all. Wouldn't trust that guy as far as I could throw him. I agree, Jordan, man. Sky Sports needs a shake-up. But Sky Sports now is just this mundane, corporate, woke fucking product. That's what it is. They tick their little boxes. They make sure that shit is done. But in regards to actual quality, it's nothing. There's nothing there with Boxer and Sky Sports. Yeah, Vidal Riley versus Mikhail Lawal, yeah. I think Riley should win. What happened to Spencer Fearon? I've not seen that guy for a while, to be honest. I've not seen that guy for a while. It's not about being behind Wizard Sleeve. It's not about being behind. Physically, they were hard fights for Tyson. They were hard fights. Like being behind and a fight being hard are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Isaac Chamberlain, he schools Jordan Thompson. But listen, I rate Parker in regards to I've always been critical in regards to Joseph Parker in regards to lack of a mean streak. Which you need as a fighter. One thing I will say about Joseph Parker, though, that has to be said. If you look at the guys he's fought in his career, he's fought a lot of top guys. He fought AJ, Dillian White, Wilder, Zhang, Joe Joyce, even guys like Huey Fury, Carlos Takam when Takam was good, Andy Ruiz. Parker's fought guys, man. If you look at his resume, Parker's got a good resume, even in terms of wins. It's not like we're just counting losses. He beat Ruiz, and he did win that. He did win that fight, in my opinion. He beat Wilder. He beat Zhang. Like, he's got some good wins. He beat Huey Fury. Again, people may not rate Huey Fury all that much, but he's awkward as fuck. I'll give Parker credit, man, for fighting guys. I'll give him credit. And he seems like a nice guy as well, so I'd pick... Yeah, exactly, JD. I'd pick Mendoza to beat Thurman too. I think Thurman is basically done. One more payday, and then we'll call it a day. I see it the exact same way, Jay. Exact same way. So I was very surprised to see people be disappointed that the Thurman fight fell through with Tim Tszyu. Oh yeah, bro, all these guys are juicing, Sven. Yeah, facts. Anyway, versus Caleb Plant. Prime Vodzik was better than Bivol, in my opinion. I don't think that's a crazy take. I don't think it's a crazy take. I'll be honest. I don't think it's a crazy take. I'd have to really think about it and assess both to agree or disagree. I don't think it's a crazy take, though. I think they're at a similar level. If you look at Bivol's title defenses, would I pick any of those guys to beat Vodzik, a prime Vodzik? No. Honestly, you may be right. You may be right. I actually think the Dmitry Bivol Beterbiev fight is going to look similar to Beterbiev Vodzik. I really do. Yeah, bro, even when Shakur fake retired, nobody cared. Nobody cared. I think the era's gone now for this whole slick boxer thing. It's gone. Throwing two punches around and running around like a fairy, that psyop is dead. You can't sell that anymore. You can't sell it anymore. If you're going to be a mover, you have to do it with a bit of swagger. If you're going to be a mover, you got to do it with swagger. None of these guys have it. These guys don't have it. Any tank fight is predictable. We already know what's happening. Facts, bro. Couldn't have said it better. Yeah, Raymond Ford in his last fight put me on notice. He put me on notice. Very good win over Kolmatov. Come from behind victory. He showed something. Something called entertainment against a strong, hungry opponent who he was the underdog against. And I think you'll see Raymond Ford fight Nick Ball next on the Saudi undercard. And I think he'll beat Nick Ball as well. Okay, theory. I believe this was Conor's first big movie role. We already know Hollywood is weird. I bet this is Conor playing by Hollywood rules. Possibly, I guess. Possibly, but I think Conor was on the downward slide for a long time, bro. Honestly. I think he's just that sort of guy. Hollywood or no Hollywood. Yeah. I like Cole Froch, bro. I like Cole Froch. Is Ben Shalom vaccinated? You know it, bro. You know it. Wizard Sleeve, I agree. I don't always agree with you, bro, but I totally agree. I think that's one thing, regardless of how much of a failure PBC's been. That's one thing I appreciate about PBC. They don't do women's fights. Can we give Al Heyman that credit? I'll give him that credit. I agree, G-Man. I think it's done. I think the whole slick boxer thing is done. I don't think you can sell these guys. I don't think you can sell these guys anymore. I think the landscape is changing. Yeah, he's another one. Why is he not trying to get a fight with Janabek? Janabek will take that fight. Janabek, people forget, Janabek's a unified middleweight champion. He's struggling for fights. He would take that fight against Chris Eubank Jr. Why not? Bring him over to the UK. You're basically right, Ashley. Honestly, you're right. Yeah, Conor's been finished since the Mayweather fight. Yeah. And that was 2017. We're 2024 now. Yeah, Larry Holmes did it with rhythm, though. Again, a bit of swagger about it. The jab, the footwork, the movement, the fluidity. And also, by the way, when I say slick boxers, I'm kind of paraphrasing. I kind of mean runners. So there are slick boxers I love watching, like James Toney, for example, right? He's a slick boxer, but he's not a runner. Yeah, that's a great shout. I should take slick back because slick to me is James Toney. Slick's been, and I'm guilty of it right now, but slick's been kind of reattributed to runners. Whereas really a slick fighter is a guy like James Toney in the pocket or a Mike McCallum who can stay defensively responsible up close and roll your shots and block your shots while getting his own off. That's slick. I hope Mike wins hands, but I don't know. Maybe a fixed fight. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be sad if Mike Tyson loses to Jake Paul. It's a good fight, honestly. Sam Eggington versus Conor Benn. Why not make it? It's a good fight. Beterbiev versus Opetaya. Opetaya beats Beterbiev, in my opinion. And as you know, Beterbiev is like my favorite fighter, but I think Opetaya has too much. Too big, too young. I'd watch it though. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it to see if Beterbiev can bridge that gap. Because if he were to beat Bivol and then somehow beat Opetaya, bro, that's crazy. Yeah, McCallum, when I think of technical, McCallum's a guy who comes up because if you look at Mike McCallum, a lot of what he did looked simple. And he did the basics so incredibly well. Who is Cisse? JDM. I don't know who that is. That's the thing, Sven. Yeah, Mike's probably got 2 rounds in him. Beterbiev, I think, is too strong on the inside for Andre Ward. The issue for Andre Ward in that fight, I don't think he's got the strength to spoil against Beterbiev. Because Beterbiev can generate power in the clinch when he's being held. Whereas a guy like Kovalev couldn't. Kovalev was an outside boxer and mid-range to a certain degree. But in regards to the dirty inside tactics, he wasn't really adept. Beterbiev is. That's why Ward would never want to fight him. That's why he retired. Yeah, those are horrible fights, Daniel. The Ramirez and Ortiz fights, they're horrible. So Virgil Ortiz is fighting Thomas Dulorme at 154. And Jose Ramirez is fighting Rances Barthélemy. Yep, awful, awful. What's up, Kek? What's up? Usyk is too good of a boxer for Fury, and at least in his prime was too fast and athletic to get caught in clinches, headlocks, arm chokes, and Fury's vast assortment of fouls. Yeah. I hope you're right, bro. I hope Usyk wins. I hope Usyk wins and then retires, honestly. I feel like boxing is itching to rob this guy now. If he beats Bivol, then listen, man, it's going to be hard to ignore him, which I think he will do. I think he'll beat Bivol. I think he's too big, too strong. I think he'll close the distance. I think he'll surprise people against Bivol. I think he'll surprise people. Yeah, people forget Usyk is getting in his late 30s now. I forget that as well, to be honest. What is Fury? Is Tyson Fury 35? Let's have a look. Yeah, Tyson Fury's 35. plus all the outside the ring antics as well. So he's probably more closer to 40, honestly. He's probably closer to 40. How old's Usyk? Is Usyk 37 now? He is, he's 37. I wonder, Jordan, if Anderson is going to be around in 2 to 3 years' time. Some of the things he said about wanting to retire early and whatnot, I'm not sure about Anderson. He's got talent, but I'm not sure. Thing is with Bivol in that fight, man, he has to fight. He could be winning rounds, man. It's the punishment he sustains. He's got to be perfect over 12 rounds. I think he gets stopped. I think he gets stopped in the second half, Bivol. Yeah, I don't think AJ is an old 35, to be honest. I don't think he's an old 35. Yeah, he's had a couple of losses. He's been stopped against Ruiz, had a couple of hard fights, but he's not an old 35, in my opinion. So yeah, AJ's probably got, what's he, 34 now, coming to 35. He's probably got a good 2-3 years left, maybe even more if he wants to. He can still be there or thereabouts. Yeah, the Katie Taylor thing, I've never understood in Ireland. I've never understood it. The whole Katie Taylor fanfare, never understood it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Fury's done so much damage to himself with his lifestyle. Looks like he's in his late 40s. Yeah, exactly, Jay. Exactly. No doubt he's getting on the old gear, but we'll see. See, there's that as well. Yeah, Beeple doesn't have the power of Vodzik. Yeah. And boxing in that fashion for 12 rounds against Beterbiev without having the power to keep him honest, I think is a hard ask. I think it's a hard ask if he can't get Beterbiev's respect. He would have to box such a good fight to win that fight if he can't hurt Beterbiev. Unless Beterbiev gets old overnight, obviously. Yeah, that is a good shout. Like, aside from Varlene, like AJ, if you look at his comeback trail, he beat Jermaine Franklin, a shot Hellenius, and Otto Varlene, who a lot of people rated. I never rated Varlene. People on this channel can attest to that. And Francis Ngannou. So yeah, in regards to the name value, he's not really beat anybody. But the Varlene fight, he looked more confident. I will say that. He did what he was supposed to do against Varlene, in my opinion. But a lot of Fury fans were gassing up Varlene for a long, long time. And I was saying this guy wasn't that great. Tyson Fury made him look good. You think Nick Ball KO's Ford? He's got a puncher's chance. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Fury's like a dart player, bro. Fury has to be mid-40s internally. If you see darts players from the 80s, some dead at 60 that had the body age of an 80-year-old, and that's just alcohol. Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, Fury's been on other stuff as well. Yeah, Bivol can be hit. Yeah, I agree. Stats killer. Otto Varlene is a average European level heavyweight. I thought it was a lot closer than people had it. I had Varlene winning, but it was a close fight. But I had Varlene winning. I was disappointed in Gassiev in that fight. I thought he could do something at heavyweight, but yeah, obviously not. Obviously not. Nah, bro, I'm gonna chill over Easter. I think I'm gonna chill. I think I'm gonna chill. Yeah, Varlene Parker, bro. Nah, no, thank you. Again, Otto Varlene is another one of those guys I could care less if he fights again. I could care less. Just not interested in Otto Varlene in any fight of consequence. If you want to use Otto Varlene as like a measuring stick for a prospect, fair enough, like a Jared Anderson or a Jalalov, maybe in a year's time, Moses Italma, fine. But in regards to him taking fights of consequence, I could care less. I could really care less. Another fighter who is just utterly uninspiring, brings nothing to the table. Dull, boring, no power, not interested. Not interested at all. That's really his only. Yeah, he's got a decent chin. That's about it. He's got a decent chin. Varlene. Is Fandora chinny? Well, he got blasted by Brian Mendoza, but it was quite a hard fight. He was tired. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think he's got the best chin. Put it that way. Is he like fucking chinny? I don't know. I don't know. He can be hurt, but as we know, he can be knocked out. I think he retired, Dominic Brazil. I think he retired. The best fight he was in was against Izu Agano, Izu Agono, or whatever his name was. Yeah. Well, I think Frank Sanchez is going to fight Ajit Kabayel. That's what I've heard in the WBC Eliminator. That's what I heard. Yeah, I like those channels, Sean D. I've not listened to blood boxing in a while, but yeah, good channels. Yeah, I heard about the Vince McMahon allegations, but I never really looked into it too much. Yeah, this fight's going down in a couple of weeks for the vacant IBF super welterweight title. Murtazaliev versus Jack Hawkeye. I've not seen much of Murtazaliev. When I have seen him on PBC undercards, I've not really been that impressed. Just seems like a workman-like fighter. But Jack Hawkeye now is in his mid-30s. Jack Hawkeye in his prime was a good sort of lower-level top 10 guy. If Jack Hawkeye is at his best, he should win. But he may be past his prime now. He may lose. He may lose. Yo, this is a crazy stat from StatsKiller. Fury has faced 4 ranked opponents, 3 ranked at heavyweight, 1 at cruiser in 16 years. What do you mean by ranked, by the way? Do you mean Ring Magazine rankings? Because Vladimir Klitschko was 1. Dillian White was 1. And obviously Deontay Wilder. I know he fought Wilder 3 times, but it's 1 opponent. And Steve Cunningham for 4th. You might be right. I think you are right. That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat. You must be talking about Ring Magazine. No, I've not seen Southpaw. I've not seen Southpaw. I've not really seen many boxing movies, bro. I've not even seen fucking some of the Rocky films. Yeah, I think Wardley's too much for Fraser Clark. I think Fraser's going to stick in there for a while. I don't think he's going to get like knocked out in a couple of rounds, but Fabio Wardley is a little too mobile, a little too agile, too dynamic. I think he'll probably stop Fraser late, I would say. I think Fraser's going to have a few moments here and there. I think he'll start to roughhouse Fabio Wardley. He'll have a bit of success, but I think he'll get knocked out. And gonorrhea, yeah. Flatly Fury is a flabby, feather-fisted fraud. Yeah, I need to look into it, G-Man, in regards to Vince McMahon. What's up, Nordic? How you doing, bro? God bless. Yeah, Tom Schwartz was a bum, honestly. Big bum, massive bum, big German bum. Awful fighter. Awful fighter. Yeah, I agreed with Nordic's video on Campbell Hatton. He inspired me to make a video on Campbell. Campbell, a.k.a. Campbell Soup, a.k.a. Hands of Foam. Awful. Oh, yeah, that Emperor Michael guy is still around, man. I remember him from years ago. We're talking a good 10 years ago. He was on YouTube. So I've watched YouTube boxing content for a long time, way before I uploaded. And that guy, Emperor Michael, was on YouTube a long time ago, like 10 years ago or so. And he randomly came back. He's a strange guy, though. There's something wrong with that kid, Sven. There's something wrong with him. That's another great stat. Usyk in 3 years at heavyweight and 5 fights has faced 3 times as many top-ranked contenders as Fury has in 15 years. It's crazy. El Mencho versus El Chapo in a boxing match. Hard to say, bro. We don't know how what Mencho's health is like. Yeah, Fraser Clark isn't great in my opinion. He'll top out. Campbell Hatton crap. He's not that good. Yeah, maybe I'm being too kind by calling him crap. Yeah, it's crazy. Tyson Fury's reign. It's crazy how lackluster it's been. His fanboys are the worst, though. Tyson Fury fanboys are the worst. Honestly. Yeah, he's certainly mentally ill, Nordic. He is certainly mentally ill. I do think though Clark is going to get stopped later than 6. I think it'll be later on. I think he'll get chopped down and then stopped late. Yeah, man. Usyk's shown a desire to fight top competition for a while, for all his career, though, man. So it's hardly surprising. It's hardly surprising that a cruiserweight's shown more ambition than Tyson Fury. It's not surprising to me. Hopefully we see the same going forwards as well, man, when Jaya Pattaya goes to heavyweight, because that will happen eventually. He's going to go to heavyweight eventually, Pattaya. And when he does, I think Pattaya is going to give guys trouble at heavyweight. Not saying he's going to win every fight or anything like that, but he's going to give guys trouble. He's got a lot of ability, Pattaya. I think he's very good. You got to learn. You have to learn that a bladder shot in boxing is not a legal blow, bro. You have to learn that. All I'll say is, the WBA sanctioned that fight. Read their rules and come back. That's all I'll say. Hang on, is this Emperor Michael guy calling out Nordic? Is this guy calling out Nordic? I want to see this if that's true. I want to see this. Nordic would fold that guy in half. I've seen Nordic throw that left hook and the overhand right. He's got that fucking chopping overhand right. Bro, I mean, in regards to the Usyk thing as well, Dubois literally said it before the fight. He'll do anything to win, including headbutt Usyk. And he showed that in the fight. Some of you guys have been conditioned for too long by bad officiating in boxing. You've seen fucking guys like Andre Ward get away with murder, and the commentary teams will fucking explain it away as slick and, veteran tactics, and you think it's okay. It's against the fucking rules. That's how demoralized boxing fans are. They think low blows are legal shots. That's how demoralized boxing fans are. And when you can't be honest, about a sport that means nothing at the end of the day. You can't be honest about what's going on in real life. If you can't be honest about fucking boxing, more than likely you got fucking triple vaccinated and you're on the way for your 4th booster. Probably still wear a mask in your car when you're driving to work, when nobody else is in the car. That's the level you're at. Do I agree with Andrew Tate on some things? First and foremost, I think Andrew Tate more than likely is controlled opposition. I will say that. You know, another guy with a CIA dad. Funny how that works. But listen, take that aside. Are there things Andrew Tate says that I agree with? Yeah, but I don't trust the guy. I can agree with something somebody says, but it doesn't mean I trust them. That's a good fight. Gulamarian versus Zerdo Ramirez. I think Gulamarian's the favourite, right? He's the natural cruiserweight. I think Zerdo has a chance. I think Zerdo has the boxing ability to win that fight. Zerdo Ramirez, though, has wasted his ability. He's wasted his talent, in my opinion. He never developed the way I expected him to. Nordic done a good video on this, actually, this fight. He made a prediction for it. He's not calling him out. He just keeps slagging off Nordic and Triple B for exposing him for being a coward and a scumbag. He called me irrelevant and morbidly obese using fake accounts when I pointed out that he was making threats towards Dean Powell back in the day. Yes, bro. Bro, Nordic, exactly. You remember. This guy was around for a long, long time. He was around like 10 or so, more than 10 years ago, because Dean Powell died in 2013. He was around like in the early 2010s on YouTube boxing. And you're right. Now you've said it, I remember it. Because I think that's why the guy left the internet. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that's why he left the internet. But you're right. You're right. When I look at the guy, he's either mentally ill, like he has some sort of deficiency, like severe autism, and I'm not making fun. Asperger's maybe, something like that, or he's just a very low IQ psychopath. What's up, Ryan? How you doing? Nah, bro, most of my videos on disturbed reality are demonetized. I had like one like really good month on it, like what I would call really good. But most of my videos are demonetized, bro. But yes, it's good. It's been interesting, put it that way. It's been interesting to see how like YouTube works when you've got like a slightly bigger account. It's interesting to see how things work. Certain people can push certain narratives that aren't advertiser friendly, but they're okay. And they're the ones who talk about censorship the most. It's kind of crazy. But yeah. But yeah, I'd say like for every 20 videos, maybe 2 to 3 get monetized. I'd estimate maybe 4 if I'm lucky. But thank you, man, Ryan. Thank you, bro. If I grant you, let's say I grant you that Dubois knocked out Usyk with a low blow, sorry. Do you grant me that Tyson Fury lost to John McDermott? Probably not, right? Oh, Isaac Cruz beats Rolly Romero. He knocks him out, in my opinion. That was it. Apollo James Jackson. That's the name. But yeah, listen, in all seriousness, he has something wrong with him. Let's just be honest. I'm not trying to be nasty, but it's true. We all know. We all know. Yeah, he's been around for that long because Nordic's my age. He's my age. So I think Nordic's 29. Sorry to say Nordic. And this was a long time. Exactly. He's been around for a long, long time, this guy. So Dean Powell was the matchmaker for Frank Warren for a long, long time. And he offed himself in like 2013. Yeah, so Charlie Zelenov, I think, has schizophrenia, I want to say. I remember his dad doing an interview or something, and he was saying Charlie had like schizophrenia. Like, I don't think Charlie Zelenov's a low IQ psychopath. He's just mentally ill. Whereas that fucking Michael guy, I'm not sure. He's mentally ill. I mean, I think being a psychopath is being mentally ill as far as I'm concerned. But he's either a psychopath that has low IQ, or he's like autistic or has Asperger's, whatever. One of the two. You do realize where you have your trunk line is not necessarily dependent on what's a low blow or not. You do realize that, Mr. Boxing Straight Talk. But look at where the punch connected. And answer me this. Was it below the navel? Was it on the bladder? If the answer is yes, it's a low blow. If you read the rules. If you understand the scoring areas, below the navel, in the bladder region is a low blow. Whether your fucking trunk line is on the belly button or in line with the belly button, doesn't really matter, bro. It's obvious to see. And if we're talking about stoppages, if Tyson Fury wasn't an A-side fighter, would the Otto Wallin fight have been stopped? Again, you're talking about cheating, but like, I don't hear you talking about Tyson Fury continuously rabbit punching in fucking various fights. You know, lacing with the jab. It's not even a jab, he's lacing with his lead hand, things like that. You're talking about cheating, but like, if you're just a boxing fan like you're portraying yourself to be, then Tyson Fury's a bigger cheat than Usyk. If we're talking about in-fight tactics, by far, it's not close. Clinching, elbows, shoulders. But again, you've been duped by boxing media, by commentators, that's just, you know, veteran tactics. It's cheating. Just like a low blow isn't a scoring punch. Yeah, Usyk gets punched in the wall of a navel, which has no protection, and he cheated. Make it make sense. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Alan. Nice to see you, by the way, bro. Yeah, I think you'd deal with Sonny Edwards, Nordic. I think you'd deal with him. Okay, so the reason he went after Dean Powell was because he was in Don Charles and Derek Chisora's gym begging for interviews and attention, and Dean wouldn't drop everything for him. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it should have been stopped, Sven. All I'm saying is if it was a B-side fighter, it would have been stopped. I can't say online, bro. I can't say online. But I've only had like on YouTube, on the other channel, I had like one what I would call a really good month. Because it all kind of worked out well for 1 month. But since then, man, it's been a good side earner because even like semi-demonetized videos get some money, and when you've got like a certain amount of videos, it adds up. But it's nothing crazy. I couldn't live on it on its own right now. It's like it'd probably be equivalent to like a really low paying like a really low paying job, like a minimum wage job kind of thing. In there or thereabouts. If you're gonna make content, bro, don't make content about fucking Mexican drug cartels and shit like that. Make some family friendly content, and you'll make a lot of money. If every single video that I did got monetized, I'd be sitting on several $100,000, pounds, whatever. I could have bought a house cash. Put it that way. Is what it is, though. That's fine, bro. If you think Fury beats Usyk, that's fine, bro. But like you're coming in here and acting like Tyson Fury is this like fucking holier than thou fighter, but he's a dirty fighter. Clearly a dirty fighter. I mean, the guy got banned for being a dirty fighter, right? So let's not play that. And again, I would advise you to go back and when you get time, take a look at what a scoring blow is and what a low blow is. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Usyk is unbeatable. If Tyson Fury goes in there and he rolls back the years and he gets back to that form he once was, even in the second Wilder fight, he's got a great chance, in my opinion. With Tyson Fury, though, I don't like what I've seen in his last few fights, third Wilder fight onwards. Even the Derek Chisora fight, I felt he looked laboured. He didn't have that bounce in his feet. The feints have decreased. He doesn't fight with that same dynamism or energy. The reactions look a tad slower. To me, he doesn't look like the same fighter. Even but forgetting Garnu, even before then, he hasn't looked like the same fighter, in my opinion, recently. I'd get fucking slept right now, man. I'm not in condition to fight. I'm not in condition. If I fucking had to train, bro, I'd need to go like full Spartan, like proper like 100% in, because I'd have a lot of catching up to do right now. I'll be real. The closest I'd get to that, bro, is like a Misfits fight, and maybe I'd do that if it was the right opponent. I wouldn't go in there and like get fucking my pants pulled down. Put it that way. Yeah, basically, it's like saying Ward's fucking punches against Kovalev were legit. That's what he's used to seeing, Bo. Like he's used to this shit not being called out, and the one time it is called out for being a foul that it was, it's Usyk like cheating. It's crazy. Again, it's demoralization. You know, people just accept it. People just accept this sort of nonsense in boxing. It's like the whole robbery thing, right? Like one of the biggest psyops in boxing, or one of the biggest copes in boxing to try to like explain away a corrupt sport, oh, you have to take it from the champion. Nonsense. If you win 7-5, you win 7-5. If it's like clear 7 rounds, you've won a clear 7 rounds. Doesn't matter whether you're fighting a champion. It doesn't give him 3 extra points. See, that saying in and of itself just displays how demoralized boxing fans are. Oh, you got to take it from the champion. Or you got to take it when you're in the away corner. Yeah, Fury's bodywork, he can do it, but he's not exactly known for it per se. Yeah, that's why, bro, Nordic. I like streaming on that channel, bro, but I feel a certain type of way of doing it a lot, man. Kind of makes me feel a certain way. So I'd rather not do it all the time. I only do it when I really want to. I don't think I've done one this year. Maybe I've done one on that channel. Yeah, exactly, Nordic. Exactly. If I had tits, I'd be a millionaire, bro. I'd be a millionaire. I agree, Spore. I agree, bro. Tyson Fury, for me, is a case of wasted talent. I would put him in that category. Because when he got to that certain level, but just before the Vladimir Klitschko fight, when he fought Chisora in the rematch, Christian Hammer, then Vladimir, I thought at that point we were looking at a fighter that could go on and do something really, really special, like, you know, have so much success. And don't get me wrong, he came back and beat Wilder, cool, but Wilder was what he was. He should have achieved a lot more, Tyson Fury, in my opinion. Yeah, again, though, you say he scraped a win, but like Dubois won 1 round, bro. And he made the guy fucking submit to a jab. It's like, I don't know, man. I didn't see the fight the same way, bro. Yeah, I'll take a Misfits fight. I'm honest, against the right guy. Me too, bro. I would as well. See, that's something that would just be about money. I'd want to get paid a little bit if I did something like that, to be honest with you. Yeah, normie boxing fans have been conditioned to think low blows are okay, yeah. And it's the same with robberies, headbutts, yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did spit his mouth guard out. That was a great fight, though, wasn't it? That was a great fight. I wasn't really shocked. I thought it would go a few more rounds, but I wasn't shocked. Yeah, Emperor Michael was going to say Nordic needs to come down to 130 at like Emperor weight. He needs to come down to Emperor weight. He's probably saying he's like the A side. We'll have to agree to disagree. Boxing straight talk. We'll have to agree to disagree. A payday. Yeah, he wants that Nordic payday. Yeah, I'm not a jacked guy by any means. I'm like a slim guy, but I can do a fair few pull-ups. I need to test it at some point. When next time I get an opportunity to see how many I can do in a row. But I can lift my own body weight and I can hang my own body weight as well. Yo, what's up, Lee? How you doing, bro? Nice to see you, man. Hopefully you're well. AJ should have taken out Ngannou in 1 round. Poor performance. I'd watch those fights, bro, unironically. I would watch Ngannou versus Dave Allen. I would watch it. I hope you're right, Manky Crazy. I hope you're right. This card this weekend isn't bad. Fraser Clark versus Fabio Wardley. Alan Babich versus Steve Robinson. Chris Congo versus Florian Marku. It's a decent card. It's a decent card. For a boxer card, it's decent. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I just want a couple of those Sky Sports cards that have no women fights on them. I'll be real. You're misogynistic, they say. I think people are coming around to it, though. People are coming around to that, yours truly was right. The whole female boxing thing made me convinced that a lot of these guys in YouTube boxing who cover boxing are paid. Because the amount of channels that I see covering it, to me, doesn't seem organic. I'll be real. Doesn't seem organic. It really doesn't seem organic. How is the perception on Benji Whittaker? He's making a name for himself to a certain degree in the UK. With the old showboating thing. He looks interesting. He's worth keeping an eye on. But ultimately, he's not fought anybody yet, so it's hard to tell. The whole showboating conversation is an interesting one. A lot of people complaining about showboating in boxing. I understand it to a certain degree. So I think Ben Whittaker should have been criticised for showboating against Journeyman. When you're like a former bronze medalist or silver medalist, whatever he was, and he's fighting a fucking Journeyman with a even record, and you're showboating, to me, that's not a good look. It's not a good look when you're doing it against a guy who you're so levels above. If you're doing it in a world title fight or something like that, I've got no issue with showboating. If you're doing it in a competitive fight or on paper a competitive fight, I have no issue with it. It's when these guys do it against fucking minus 200 fucking fighters. That's when it's cringe. That's when it's cringe. But as for him, I don't know, bro. It's too early. Canelo Munguia. Weirdly, if it's a real fight, I think Munguia gives Canelo a tough fight. If it's a weird fight, if it's a real fight, sorry, I think Canelo is in for a tough night's work. I think he'll win, but I think Munguia will give Canelo issues. I think he'll give Canelo issues if he comes there to fight. Just due to the output and the and how much fresher he is, And he's not a small guy, Munguia. He's not a small guy. I know he started at 154, but how he made that weight is crazy. I agree, Matt. A lot of those guys are grifters and creeps. Yep, I agree. He should have been charged with public fraud for fucking third time, bro. Honestly. Yeah, bro. Looking forward to it, G-Man. If Ben Whittaker is considered one of the best prospects in the UK, British boxing truly is on the ropes. Yeah, we'll see with Ben Whittaker, but I agree in regards to the broader landscape in regards to British boxing. I don't think there's much talent coming through right now. Who is there that's out there who, number one, you think's a really talented fighter, like young, but number two has the ability to cross over and really kind of keep boxing afloat in the mainstream? There's not really any prospects out there for my recollection. Yeah, Andy Ruiz should retire. He's another one. I think he's done, bro. I think he's done. I totally agree. Yeah, it's when you're showboating against bums. Yeah, exactly. Who are half your size. That's the issue. That's the issue. Totally agree. I don't mind showboating in a fight where, on paper, it's evenly matched. No issue. But yeah, when you're doing it against a fucking midget journeyman, that's when it gets a little distasteful, in my opinion. That's a good shout as well. G-Man. Yeah, I doubt channels who cover it get paid, mate. I've never been asked. And from what I've seen, I think it's guys trying to show that they are progressive in case an opportunity comes along. You might be right. You might be right. It's still the same. It's still the same principle, though, right? It's kind of selling your soul, kind of thing. But you may be right. Yeah, is Ronald Gavril still fighting? But yeah, just somebody who can actually take him some rounds. Thoughts on Dennis McCann? I think he loses to Liam Davies. I think he loses to Liam Davies. Dennis McCann to me just reminds me of a fighter that looks flashy, that has his moments, but I'm not sure how much substance is there with Dennis McCann. I don't think it'd make much of a difference with Jarrell Miller, bro. I think that ship sailed with Jarrell Miller. If he was going to be anything, it would have been a few years ago before he got popped. Or during when he got popped. I agree, Jordan. I think he's a good fighter. How far he goes is unknown. I mean, he's in a Inoue division, right? So that's a fucking high barometer. But like, if Inoue leaves that division anytime soon, Liam Davis to me could easily pick up a vacant world title. I think Liam Davis is good enough in the right moment to be a belt holder. Can he be any more than that? We will see. But he's a good fighter. He's a decent fighter. Yeah, Atalma looks decent. Atalma looks decent. Yeah, he doesn't come across like an 18-year-old, nor does he look like one. He's quite mature for a guy who's 18, 19. He's quite mature. He doesn't seem too big-headed or up himself. Just seems focused, totally focused, like autistically focused, which I like in a young fighter. But he needs some tough journeyman now in his next few fights. Guys who can take him a few rounds. That's what he needs. Some of these sort of tough Eastern European journeymen. Like the guy he fought a few fights ago, Dobyashenko, whatever his name was, who beat Matty Harris. He needs a few more tough journeymen. Yeah, he's rematching that guy. I think that guy's name was O'Quinn. He got the guy who knocked him out. He's rematching him, right? Wardley's a fighter I struggle to judge, I'll be honest. Because of like the lack of amateur pedigree, I always have that in mind, but for a guy who started boxing 1920, he's come a long way. He has come a long way. There's a lot of natural ability there, like a lot of natural athleticism that's taken him to a certain level. We'll see. I don't think about, honestly, world level may be probably too far, but bro, the heavyweight division could be weak soon. Once like Fury, AJ, Usyk retire, the heavyweight division could be very weak. So you never know, right, in a few years' time. I don't think so, though. I don't think he'll be a world champion. Yeah, I believe Munguia can beat Canelo if he comes to win. Canelo's poor stamina could realistically be tailor-made for a guy with the punch variety, output, and stamina like Munguia. Yeah, that's a fight I would like if I knew it was real. I wouldn't hate it. If I knew that fight was real, I wouldn't be like against it. And I like Munguia anyway, so I hope he doesn't sell out. Sonny Edwards may actually outbox Campbell Hatton, honestly. Even if Sonny Edwards comes in at like fucking 115 or whatever he comes in at, he could outbox Campbell. Yeah, if I start shilling the zone and promoting women's fights, you know I've accepted a check. Yeah. I think then the world will be ending, bro, when I see Nordic doing that. I don't think he hits all that hard at 168, I'll be honest. He's got thudding power, but nothing like crazy one punch. I've had more opportunities come along, and am I progressive? If you're good enough, there's no need to try to be progressive. It won't help again. Yeah, more to tell you on tomorrow on that. Nice one, bro. Yeah, I look forward to it, man. I don't know who Victoria Lee is, bruv. Yeah, the extra weight is one of the only reasons why Miller won so many fights. He was outlasting non-punchers by being so big and heavy, yeah. Honestly, Brovo, Jarrell Miller versus Dillian White right now makes sense. Dillian White versus Jarrell Miller, I would watch. Just for the car crash TV element. The build-up will be funny. John O'Carroll, I've not heard that name in a minute. Very good question. When did the guy last fight? I know that guy has been fighting in like Dubai. He fought Miguel Mariaga last time out in Dubai. That was March last year. Fuck knows, man. So the last 4 fights he's fought in Dubai 3 times and Uzbekistan. Maybe he's being frozen out because he was connected with MTK, Daniel Kinahan. It's weird he's not had it's weird he's not had any fights. The last fight he had in the US was against Andy Vences. That was 2021. That was on Triller. I remember that. The last fight he had in the UK was 2020 against Maxi Hughes, which he lost. So he's not fought in the UK for a long time. 4 years. That's a good fight. Yeah, MJ versus Liam Davis. That's a good fight. I think his chin is gone, bro. I think Liam Williams' chin has completely gone. To be honest with you. I don't know what he does outside of boxing, but to me, it looks like he doesn't live the life. He looks decent, bro, but he's very young. He's like 2021, right? Elijah Garcia. He's very young. Itama's always greets and fist bumps me when I see him. Yeah, he seems like a decent guy. Just seems like he's got his head screwed on, focused on boxing. which is what you want from a young fighter, you know? Once they get on TV, a lot of these guys lose focus quickly. But he seems to be focused. I'm not sure about this fight, Dubois. I'm not sure about it. Hrgović is a bad fight for Dubois. Personally, I want to see Dubois go for the European title. I really like the Hrgović-Dubois fight because, listen, Dubois I don't trust because of obvious reasons, but nor do I trust Hrgović. He's not impressed me recently either. Hrgović is bigger, he's longer, better amateur pedigree, he's got a better chin. But, like, he's been looking sloppy recently, but he is awkward. And as we know, Dubois has quit in him, but he is offensively pretty good. I don't know, man. That's a good fight. I'd like to see it. Autistically focused, how articulate. I try. Hergebum would stop Dubum late, probably make him take another knee. I think that's a 50-50 fight, man. I really do. I think it's 50-50. But my issue with Dubois is, man, he just doesn't react well when he gets hit. Whereas at least we know Hrgović can take a shot, even though in the Zhili Zhang fight, he was turning his back and whatnot, but he can take a shot. I don't know, man. That's a hard one to call. I may lean towards Hrgović in a slight way, but I wouldn't be confident. I don't trust either guy. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Dillian White didn't look great. I haven't watched the Tyson Fury Klitschko fight since it happened. I've never watched it back. Yeah, I basically see it as 50-50 with Hrgović. Maybe if I had to lean towards anybody, it would be Hrgović because I think he's tougher. But in regards to skills, I don't really rate Hrgović like that. When he turned pro, I was very excited because I saw him in the amateurs, but it seems like he's lost that dynamism to his game. It's like he's regressed almost. So in the amateurs, he looked like he had a similar style to Vitaly Klitschko, the lean back type of style. He was very similar to Vitaly in the amateurs. You know, orthodox version. But as a pro, he's kind of regressed in my opinion. Sorry. I don't know why I said southpaw version of Vitaly Klitschko. But yeah, he reminded me of Vitaly in his style. The lean back type of style in the amateurs. Liam Williams can't see the punches coming because he blinks so much. Unironically, Jake Paul is better than Campbell Hatton in regards to like explosiveness, athleticism, power, at least how he throws the right hand. Jake Paul is better than Campbell Hatton, in my opinion. Yeah, Shiraz versus Williams is a good fight. I think that's a 50-50 again. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Maybe I'd favour Shiraz because of the size. Yeah, I agree, Nordic. Hrgović, big disappointment. Yeah, he needs to follow the Parker blueprint and be active, yeah. Even if it means fighting 3 or 4 bums in a row. I agree, bro. As bad as Ngannou looked against AJ, I think he'd start Mark Demori. Mark Demori is so fucking bad. So fucking bad. If both guys had 4 weeks to train, I think Ngannou beats Mark Demori. Mark Demori is awful. So bad. What's up, Boxing Brains? Rolly Romero is another Ryan Garcia who doesn't have a heart and is a bit of a clown. Maybe Gilberto Ramirez is too, but probably a weight bully like Chavez Jr. Goulamarian's a unit. Yeah, Goulamarian's a big dude. Goulamarian reminds me of Gassiev in regards to style without the power. He's similar to Gassiev, though, in a lot of ways. Like a higher output version of Gassiev with less power is how I would describe Goulamarian. But I think I've always felt Ramirez had ability, Gilberto Ramirez. I always felt he had ability that he never really developed. Yeah, so would mine, bro. My grandma would enter as favourite against Mark Demori, and she's dead. So, yeah, Mark Demori's not great. Mark Demori looks like a bad guy in like some budget Steven Seagal movie. And I'm not talking about like the good Steven Seagal movies in the 90s. I'm talking about the Steven Seagal movies from like the 2010s where he's just sitting in a chair for the whole movie. That's what he looks like. Bro, you know my thoughts on Mark Demori, Nordic. I'm convinced most of those fights never happened. Probably fake, utterly fake. I would say Romero probably has a little more heart than Ryan. I think you're picking at straws there. A 70-year-old Steven Seagal would stop Demori. Facts. Yeah, he would, bro. Steve Robinson would beat the brakes off Mark Demori. I literally think if you took a big guy who was relatively fit from the streets. So let's say you took a 6'5" guy who was like 230, decent shape, and you got him with a boxing trainer for 6 months. I think certain guys could beat Mark Demori from the streets after like 6 months of training. That's how bad Mark Demori is. He is so bad. Bro, a lot of fighters have faked their records, man. A lot of fighters. How hard is it to fix, though? That's the thing. Is it really that hard to fix? Maybe it's a little harder now with BoxRec. They're pretty good BoxRec, but even now it goes on. Even now it goes on. Mark Demori is the heavyweight Canelo, but without the extreme protection racket. I remember John Long Zhang. Yeah, that was that big fucking cunt. He was massive, wasn't he? That big Chinese guy. What's up, Real Buddha? How you doing? Yeah, he's one of the worst fighters I've seen to occupy TV screen. Especially on like a big card like the Saudi Arabia card. And also main eventing against David Haye. Yeah, bro. That was that Junlong guy. Yeah, the Junlong Zhang guy. Yeah. The Junlong Zhang. Yeah, some of his fight, there's very, very little footage of his fights. But yeah, they looked fake. They looked fake. Because he was knocking guys out like in the first and second round at every fight. He actually recently lost. He lost his last fight in 2022. He came back after like a 5-year hiatus and got knocked out by some Argentinian or Mexican guy. Who was the other guy who had blatantly fake fights? That fucking guy from like Yemen. What was his name? And he died. He died in an airstrike. He was like a lightweight, like a flyweight or something, or super flyweight. He had like a crazy record of like 19 wins with 19 knockouts, all in the first round. Yeah, bro. Yeah, several of Junlong fights got erased from BoxRec too. Yeah, I remember he fought Ramirez, the Argentinian guy. So if I look at Junlong's BoxRec now, the Ramirez fight isn't on there. The George Arias fight is on there. That's it. Ali Raimi. That's the one. That's the one. That's the guy I was thinking of. Welsh Mertz. Taishan Dong, yeah, the 7'2" Chinese guy. That's the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, but he was an army guy, right? He fought in he was in Bashar al-Assad's army, Syrian army. Sorry. I think he was. I think he was Yemeni, but lived in Syria. Could be wrong. I think I am wrong. I think he was. I think he resided in Yemen as well. I thought he was. Regardless, yeah, he died. He got killed in an airstrike because he was talking about fighting Roman Gonzalez. I remember that. Yeah, because he fought the same guy like so many times. So he fought a guy called Prince Maz one, two, three, four times. Knocked him out in the first, then knocked him out in the seventh, then knocked him out in the ninth, then knocked him out in the second. Four times he fought this man. He fought this man four times. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the WBA ranked him when he was dead. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, that's the guy. They ranked another dead guy as well. They ranked another dead guy as well. I'm pretty certain. Yeah, there's a lot about this, whether AJ is gay or not. I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit of a meme at this point, but is it true? I don't know. He was a physical freak, but stiff as a board. Freddie Roach was training him. I never knew that. I never knew he was being trained by Freddie. Prince Maz is pound for pound. Valiev would have survived the airstrike. I swear I saw a story that Valiev was going to join the Russian army to fight in Ukraine. Bro, that guy would have been a fucking massive target of snipers. Can you imagine that big cunt? You'd think he spotted Bigfoot through that fucking thermal scope. Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah, a lot of these guys with padded records fight debutants. And when you look at the debutants, it's very often these guys never fight again either. It's very often these guys never fight again. It's very strange. You're right. It's like they pulled somebody out of a crowd to have a scrap. See, I'd love to do that experiment. If I was like a millionaire, I'd love to do an experiment where I got a guy from the gym who was like intermediate level and see how far I could push the scam and build his record. Like by having him fight absolute cream puffs, like dreadful fighters, like 5 weight classes below, just like the worst matchmaking in the world, to see how far you could take it. That'd be such an interesting case study. Yeah, I just hope that war ends, man, so we can stop all that fucking violence, man. That's what I hope, but it's not going to happen. Valiev calls his Bigfoot army like Treebeard, and they wreck Kiev, bro. I'm eagerly awaiting Frezequendo's long-awaited crack at the WBA heavyweight mandatory. Fast Frezequendo. That WBA situation, man. Did you see Manuel Charr pulled out against Pulev? I was unironically looking forward to that fight as well, just because of like the sham it is, like it's pure car crash, just like two relics of the heavyweight division fighting each other. One was never that great in Manuel Charr. Yeah, Frezequendo retired Nordic. Now it's called preference, bro. It's called preference. Yeah, Mario Desa, the German dude. Yeah, so he knocked out Afolabi in 3 rounds, which was a blatant dive. Blatant dive. It's like that Joe Fournier guy. He got a record of like 12-0. All knockouts, I think. Frezequendo would beat Johnny Fisher. Even now, he may do. Yeah, Pulev, I think that fight was super obvious how it was going to go. More than likely, Pulev on points. If Manuel Charr can still hold a shot. Yeah, Afolabi was a decent fighter, man. A couple of those Hook fights were so good. His fights with Marco Hook. He fucking iced Enzo Macronelli. Yeah, Afolabi was a decent fighter. Afolabi was a decent fighter. He was a good fighter, man. There's been worse cruiserweights than him to hold a world title. Put it that way. There's definitely been worse cruiserweights than him to hold a world title. Like Johnny Nelson. But yeah, he beat I'll always remember the Enzo Macronelli win. And yeah, his fights with Marco Hook. And those fights were all close, man. The first 3 were all pretty. The first 2 especially were very close. But he fought Hook. I swear he fought Hook 4 times. I think. Yeah, Nordic. If you have enough money, you can buy a boxing career. Yeah, just build up some crazy ass record. Really, one of my mates in boxing once admitted to taking a dive in an amateur fight against a national champion. Damn. Oh yeah, absolutely. Honestly, they may happen even more in like amateur and unlicensed because there's just a lot less cameras around, right? I think the fixing in like pro boxing that's shown on like TV networks, mainstream TV networks, I think that level of fixing's more sophisticated. But yeah, it happens across the board. It happens across the board. And in pro boxing, especially at the higher level, there's different types of fixing. There's stacking the deck, which isn't like a outright fix, but you know what I mean by stacking the deck. A B-side fighter will have to jump through various hoops, whether it's weight whether it's drug testing, whether it's rehydration clauses, whether it's what time the weigh-in's at, etc., catch weights, etc. There's that as well. Like, Valuev versus Joyce. I think Joyce outworks Valuev. That'd be an interesting fight, though. I can't lie. It'd be interesting. Yeah, boxing fans are weird like that. Boxing fans... The weird thing, what I've noticed with this boxing community online, so many people I've noticed, particularly like COVID made me realise it, a lot of boxing fans that I followed, or like YouTube channels that I followed, kind of saw COVID a similar way to I did. As in they weren't buying it. But when you say to them, yeah, some of these fights are fixed, it's like, it's just, for them, it's outside the realms of possibility. They can't imagine it. But it's weird. It's strange. So they think conspiracies go on in the real world. But when it comes to boxing, it's like, nah, that doesn't happen. No way. It's weird, man. It's so weird. And yeah, you're right, Alan. Yeah, corruption has turned boxing from a sport into a business. Yeah. I think one of the big issues in boxing now, I'm not sure what it's like in the USA, but one of the issues I find now as well is PC culture has started to infect boxing. So sort of, they got to check certain boxes when it comes to boxing. So I'm talking about from like broadcasters, like analysts or presenters to actual fights. Like most cards now on TV have a female fight. And it's not for demand. You'd be lying if you said it was. That's another big issue I have with boxing right now. Yeah, I remember Tony Jeffries, yeah. He fought a guy I knew called Matt Haney. Haney beat Frank Maloney's prospect Tony Hill in an upset. So they gave him a fight with Jeffries, okay. And they forced Matt to accept a dehydration clause while Jeffrey didn't have to. So despite Jeffries being significantly bigger and stronger, Matt was badly drained and got stopped in 2 rounds. Yeah, that's the dirty sport of boxing. That's another great point. Yeah, Journeyman openly say they're there to not get knocked out. They're there not to win. So to say no fights ever fixed is ridiculous. That's the thing about American boxing. So back in the day, these up and coming American boxers would fight for the NABO title, which was basically your equivalent of like the British title. A lot of these guys would fight each other early and really separate who's the real deal from who's a pretender. They had tough fights before they fought for a world title. But now, American fighters are so mollycoddled. They're just so entitled. They're so entitled. Fighting once a year, once they become a champion. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Valuev had a good chin because of it, though. He wasn't a great fighter, though, Valuev. Let's not pretend he was. He was a big lump, and that was really about it. He was a big lump. Like, he lost to Holyfield, in my opinion. A 46-year-old Holyfield, whatever Holyfield was. He arguably beat David Havo, Valuev, to be honest. Like the David Hay fight, you could have scored to Valiev. I don't think it was a robbery, Hay winning, but yeah, have a debate, man. But don't say shit like that. That shit shouldn't be joked about. Yeah, he basically described Andrade's career. Yeah, 10 years of people telling us how good this guy was without him doing anything. And if you were skeptical of Andrade, you was a hater, or they tried to paint you as some sort of like as some sort of way when the guy did nothing in his whole career. Yeah, it's arguable he beat David Hay. You can argue it. It's been a long time since I saw the fight. Long time. But yeah, it was a close fight. Yeah, that Frank Warren card was good. The Magnificent Seven. That was a good card. Yeah, good domestic card. I feel I haven't watched Valleyweb for so long, man. So long. I need to watch him back. I'll be real. Yeah, I just remember Holyfield winning the fight. In my opinion, I just felt he outpointed Valiev. Watch the fight back, bro. Watch the fight back. Again, man, because it happened and like it's described as this David Goliath thing, the actual fight gets memory hold. Go back and watch it. Even what was the commentator's name? Jim Watt. I think Jim Watt may have even had Valiev winning. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. But he certainly had it very close. It was a very close fight. It was a very close fight. Wasn't Valiev 7 foot? How tall was Valiev? He was either 7 foot or 7'1", right? Maybe like 6'11" or something. 7 foot exactly, apparently. Yeah, I never realised until I started learning about boxing how difficult it is to be a prospect in the UK, having to pay for your opponent through selling tickets yourself while working and training. Yeah, it's okay if you're like a Olympian coming through, that's different. But if you're just like a regular amateur who maybe had 50 fights, maybe won like an ABA, and then you turn pro, yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard. Valleyweb versus Hagrid would be a great fight. I remember back then there was the talk of like Valleyweb versus the Klitschko brothers. There was people out there believing like Valleyweb could beat them as well. Yeah, boxing in the UK isn't a meritocracy at all. It's not a meritocracy. It's not really about how good you are per se. It's about, especially early on, it's about what tickets you sell. Hence why guys like Johnny Fisher are on TV. Fair play, he can sell tickets, cool, but he ain't very good, is he? He ain't very good. Honestly, if you're a young boxer, let's say you're a young boxer who's had like 20 amateur fights and you want to turn pro, you're like 19, 20. If you want to just make money, you're probably better off just being a very good journeyman, fighting 12, 14 times a year, you know, do that for 10 years, you've earned a bit of money. Just knowing how to protect yourself, always in 4 rounders. Because there's guys out here who have had like 100 fights as a journeyman, maybe won like 5, but they fight every other week and they never get knocked out. And let's say these guys are getting paid $1,000 a fight. You know, they don't really have training camps. They're training off and on. They don't have any great expenses. I guess like all their accommodation is paid for by the promoter. If you think about it, you're fighting maybe twice a month, maybe. Or even like 15, 16 times a year, man. It's a good little side earner. When you're working full time, you're doing that on the side. There's a lot of guys like that in the UK who just don't try. They just basically fight to be journeyman and fight not to get knocked out so they can fight again quickly. And they become good at it as well. They become good at it. There's been a lot of guys like that in the UK. Yeah, Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher isn't great, Daniel. I don't rate him at all. Yeah, imagine David Price had Valuev's chin, let alone like decent stamina. That is true though. Yeah, Valuev didn't really do much of anything in there. He was very low output. Yeah, bro. And I mean, why not, right? Because most of these guys are working full time as well or part time on the side as well. There's that guy. I think it was Christian Late. I think he had like something like 300 fights in the space of like 10 years, like 300 fights in 10 years or something like that. And he got knocked out like 4 times. Yeah, it's more lucrative being a journeyman. If you're too good without a big promoter, the phone is going to be cold with fight offers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Prime Povetkin would be naughty against most of these heavyweights, to be honest. But yeah, maybe being a journeyman is the way to go. Just learn to get not get knocked out, and you may make a bit of money. Now this Christian Lake guy had 300 fights. Even let's say we average it at $1,000 a fight. After taxes, he's almost paid for a house just on the side earner, because more than likely he wasn't doing it full time. It's worth doing, right? It's worth doing. Yeah, Peter Buckley was another one. Yeah. I've got Matias, man. Or Matthias. I've got Matthias winning that fight. Liam Harrow's good though. Liam Harrow's decent, man. He's a decent fighter. He fucking embarrassed Montana Love. He's a good fighter, but I think we've seen Matthias in with these sort of fighters, man. You know, these sort of unbeaten guys who are dangerous, but like not really all that well known. I feel like we've seen this story before with Subriel Matthias. I think he takes care of these sort of guys. I really do. I think he takes care of these sort of guys. I want to see Matthias in there with Tio or Devin, guys like that. That's what I really want to see, but I'm starting to think we're not going to see those fights, I'll be honest. I think he's very high risk. Very high risk. Kevin McCauley, yeah. He was another one. He was there when he beat Dave Ryan. I remember Dave Ryan, yeah. Dave Ryan from Derby. I think he was from Derby. Decent domestic fighter, Dave Ryan, in his day. That'd be an interesting fight. That'd be an interesting fight because I think Wilder. I know Wilder doesn't win rounds, but I think he could win rounds against Valuev. But like you say, could he knock out Valuev? Probably not. I totally lost respect for Regis, man, after that Devin Haney fight. I don't think he tried. I really don't think he tried. So, like, yeah, man, I'd have agreed with you like a few months ago, but I wonder where his head's at, Prograis, right now. I wonder where his head's at. Don't think he probably doesn't really want boxing anymore. Like somebody was saying earlier, he was talking about going into MMA, so I don't know. Yeah, Valuev. Listen, it's always a fun time when Valuev becomes the topic of discussion. I think we need another freak show heavyweight like a Valuev. We need another one. Wish I could time travel Valuev into today's era, see where it ranked. But who was Valuev's best win? Who was Valuev's best win? Like, legit win. John Ruiz, maybe? Liakovic? I don't know. Yeah, probably John Ruiz. Yeah, he beat Ruiz twice. Definitely John Ruiz. Yeah, John Ruiz, I'd say. I'm going to click on his fucking box rec now, actually. So yeah, he got an official win over Old Holyfield, John Ruiz twice, Sergey Liakovic. Obviously lost to Shagayev. That wasn't, from what I remember as well, it wasn't a close fight. It was a majority decision, but yeah. Jamil McCline, Monty Barrett, Owen Beck. Fucking hell, that's a name from the past. Larry Donald, Clifford Etienne. Jesus Christ. Just looking at his resume now, man. Jesus. He actually had a fight at York Hall in 1996. Never knew that. There you go. Mate, I don't remember. I remember his team. I remember Ruiz's team like crying after one of those fights. But I don't know whether it was actually a robbery or not. Don't remember. I don't think I've even seen both fights, to be honest. Nah, Makhmudov doesn't have a chin, as it seems. I remember Monty Barrett, yeah. When Monty Barrett tried to jump over the ropes against David Hay and he fucking fell. Yeah, bro, there were so many bums from back then. Honestly, there were so many bums in those sort of that mid 2000s era. There were so many bums. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, who was the worst heavyweight title challenger of all time? And I think I have an answer. Possibly the worst heavyweight title challenger of all time. My nomination. I've got to find the guy. He's so bad, I forgot his name. Okay, my nomination is Okello Peter, who was 18-4 when he fought Oleg Muskayev. This was 2006. Okello Peter was a Ugandan boxer who resided in Japan. And I went back and watched some of this guy's fights, and yeah, he was awful. Got knocked out by Kayataro Fujimoto in like 6 rounds. Got knocked out by an old Evgeny Orlov, who was a journeyman. Got knocked out in 3 by Alex Leapai. Got beat by Sunil Sam. He might be one of the worst heavyweight title challengers of all time. Knocked out by Kali Mihan. That's got to be up there. Okello Peter's got to be up there. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he dropped David Hay. Yeah. Nah, Sven Otkay's resume was so much better than Nikolai Valiev. Eric Molina's up there in regards to bad heavyweight title challengers. He's up there, yeah. Molina's up there. Leapai's up there. But Okello Peter is up there, bro. What do you class Jack Johnson's opponents? Would you class Guidry, though, as a heavyweight title challenger because it was the WBA regular? Would you class him? Dominic Breazeale is piss weak. He's very weak, but I'd still put him a level above guys like Leapai and Eric Molina and Okello Peter. I'm sure a lot of people don't even remember Okello Peter. I never did until I watched it. Like, the guy was shit, honestly, so bad. There's got to be some other ones as well, surely. Just random bums getting heavyweight title shots. Charles Martin, yeah, one of the worst heavyweight champions, yeah. Yeah, it's technically a world title. Did Francesco Pianetta fight for a title? I mean, I guess you could say he fought Fury, who was lineal, if you want to class Fury as lineal. Did Pianetta ever fight for a... Yeah, he fought Vladimir, didn't he? Yeah, he fought Vladimir. Yeah, he was bad. Pianetta was bad. Like, really bad. Yeah, I forgot he fought Vladimir. He's another guy who is so forgettable. So forgettable. Yeah, Martin was doing okay against Anderson. He did okay. I forgot he fought Klitschko, man. And yeah, he fought Shagayev. You're right. Did he? I've totally forgot the Shagayev fight. I feel like he got knocked out, but I may be wrong. Let me have a look. Francesco Pianetta. Is this guy still about or what? Is this guy still about? He's 39, so more than likely not. No, he last fought Tyson Fury. He got stopped by. Oh, he got stopped in a round. I vaguely remember it. It could have been on Box Nation. Bro, there's so many fights you've seen and you've just totally forgot them. That's crazy. I forget half of these fights, man. I swear to God. Pianetta's one of the highlights on Fury's resume. Bro, listen, I know it's cringe, right? You know when like these old heads always like they'll always like hold ex-fighters or older fighters in like such high regards to like a demigod status. I understand that's cringe, right? But when Top Rank tried to compare Tyson Fury like shuffling on the ropes against Pianetta with Muhammad Ali, that was like one of the most cringiest fucking things I've ever seen. Like when Fury was in the corner and like shimmying about, like evading punches, and when they compared it to Ali doing it, bro, it was like the cringiest thing I've ever seen. So cringy, man. Yeah, if we count Tyson Fury's lineal title fights, then yeah, Tom Schwartz would be up there. He's fucking awful as well. Like Tom Schwartz wouldn't be a domestic level fighter in most eras in the UK. Like a Danny Williams type would go through Tom Schwartz like a doorway. To be honest with you, even a prime McDermott would go through Tom Schwartz. Yeah, Vitali would be nasty in this era. I think Vitali has the worst style as well for Alexander Usyk. Marcus Bayer, yeah, good fighter, decent super middleweight. Fedor and Dmitry Chudinov, yeah. Yeah, because I forget which is which, but Fedor lost to Groves, right? Had a couple of fights with Felix Sturm. Yeah. And Dmitry was like the journeyman version. Yeah. That fucking he was a Mexican guy, wasn't he? Like the fake muscle guy. Bro, Box Nation 2013, 2014 were goated. When it comes to like picking up fucking foreign cards from Europe, like the German cards and the Russian Ryabinsky cards. People forget how good those Ryabinsky cards were back then. Those Russian cards. I'm going to try and find one right now. Because a lot of the time, Povetkin would headline. Let's take a look. Some of these cards were really good. I remember them being really good. So yeah, like Povetkin versus Mike Perez, Grigory Drozd versus Lucas Janik, Mahmoud Char versus Alex Leapai, Rakim Shakayev was on the card, Dmitry Bivol, a young Bivol, was on the card. They had some crazy cards back then in Russia, like some really good cards. Really, really good cards. I think Troyanovsky was on some of these cards as well. So yeah, but this card right here, Edward Troyanovsky versus Cesar Rene Cuenca. That was for the IBF super lightweight title. Rakhim Shakayev versus Ola Ofalabi. Shakayev got knocked out. Denis Lebedev versus Latif Coyote. Povetkin versus Marius Vac. Dmitry Kudryashov versus Ola Duradola. That's where Kudryashov got knocked out. Bivol in another early fight. Bro, there were crazy fights back then in Russia. Like crazy cards, like big cards. Yeah, the Povetkin whack card was good. Yeah, Povetkin whack. Yeah, that's the card I was thinking of, yeah. Anthony Joshua was lucky that Campbell Hatton's not a heavyweight facts. Anthony Joshua would tuck Campbell Hatton in bed if he caught him in bed with his wife. You know what I'm saying? Fucking guy, man. But yeah, the Russian cards back then were really good. Really good. Yeah, that was crazy as well. Yeah, Indongo knocked out Troyanovsky, and then he beat Ricky Burns. That was the craziest two-fight spin I've seen. Like, he beat those guys. He obviously fucking starched Troyanovsky, and he clearly beat Ricky Burns. And then he looked like complete shit. That was a weird career, man. Such a weird career. Yeah, Nunes. Yeah, Rakhimov got beat. Yeah, got beat by Nunes. Yeah, got stopped, right? He's been a knockout for hire since he lost to Crawford. He's been a knockout for hire. Is this Troyanovsky guy still fighting? No, he's not. He last fought in 2022. But he was a big banger, Troyanovsky, but he couldn't really box, let's be honest. Couldn't really box like that. Indongo would still beat Campbell Hatton. Speaking of Indongo, is he still fighting? Okay, Indongo is 41 years old and he's still fighting. His last fight, he lost to Richard Matangi in, I want to say that's the Democratic Republic of Congo. Fight before that, he got beat in Russia, UD. Fight before that, he got knocked out in Russia 1 round. Fight before that, he got knocked out in Russia 3 rounds. Fight before that, he got beat in Uzbekistan over 8. He's still fighting, though. He's still fighting. I remember him coming back to the UK years later, and he fought Chris Jenkins, and he gave Chris Jenkins a good fight as well in like an 8-rounder. I just think I just think he was one of those guys who hit lightning in a bottle, man. I'll be honest. I think he just hit lightning in a bottle. It's like the other guy from do you remember that guy who beat fucking what's his name? Sam Eggington. That Hassan Moranquinho guy. He came to the UK and knocked out Eggington. Then years later, he came back, hadn't lost since, and he fought Liam Smith, and he was terrible. Like, looked like he never boxed before. And he got stopped. I feel like African fighters are like fighters from Colombia. Like, fighters from countries in Africa are similar to fighters from Colombia. They're either like a diamond in the rough and they're like really tough and really, really rugged and durable, or they're complete shit that are going to go down in one shot. Colombian fighters are similar. Sometimes some of these guys from South America are like fucking literally look for a soft spot on the canvas. But sometimes you'll get an unknown guy who's actually decent. Yeah, bro, that's a great shout. Yeah. Great points line. Yeah, I see the WBC problem of Russians not fighting for their titles suddenly cleared up when the Saudi money came in. Yeah, bro. It's because we all knew Slime, right? You have common sense, I have common sense, and everybody here has common sense. We knew it was just a big virtue signal. Yeah, exactly, bro. Who is that African guy who was like at middleweight, super middleweight, who was always super tough? Adamu, Carlos Adamu, who fought like Kyle Froch, and he would never get knocked out, or rarely get knocked out. So it was Adamu, wasn't it? I swear he never got knocked out, or rarely got knocked out. Or Charles Adamu, maybe. I'm trying to find his name. It's Charles Adamu. Yeah, because he went the distance with Kyle Froch, Isaac Chilemba. He did get stopped by Groves. Went the distance with Rocky Fielding, Billy Joe. No, he went the distance with Dan Aziz. Yeah, Charles Adamu was a tough guy. Yeah, Adamu was tough, yeah, but he went into journeyman mode basically after the Froch fight. Because yeah, he gave Froch a good fight. It's been literally 10 plus years since I've seen it. But he gave Froch a good fight. And that's the thing with these fighters from Africa. They're like either like really fucking tough or they just fucking basically dive. It's really strange. It's really strange. But he was a tough guy. When it comes to all-time greats at cruiserweight, I keep it very narrow, to be honest. We're talking Usyk. You're talking Holyfield, possibly Carlos de Leon. I'd chuck Lebedev in there. Huck. But it's a small conversation at cruiserweight. And quite frankly, I think Usyk and Holyfield are above and beyond. I'll be honest. I think they're so far above and beyond. It's kind of worthless talking about the rest, to be honest, in terms of an all-time great setting anyway. Not that they're worthless talking about because they're not, but if we're talking about all-time greats, I think Holyfield and Usyk are so far clear. So far clear. Yeah, you need to wake me up when we get there with Ben Whittaker, to be honest with you. I'm not really interested until he steps up. Yeah. Yeah, so Ike Quartet had that Garner kind of became known for that sort of style of a very tight turtle guard with like a very good jab. And yeah, Ike Quartet did all the basics really well. Gave Oscar De La Hoya a really tough fight. Who was the other guy from Ghana? Fought Rigondeaux, and he got fucked by Abner Mares. Got punched in the dick a million times. What was that guy's name? He was another good fighter from Ghana. Fuck, what was his name? Bro, I think I'm fucking getting dementia. What was the guy's name? The guy who fought Abner Mares and got punched in the dick a billion times. Agbeko. Was it Agbeko? I want to say it was Agbeko. Joseph Agbeko, yeah, that's the one. That fucking Mares fight was disgraceful. That was like Ward Kovalev level. But he was a good fighter as well in his prime. He was a good fighter. But again, one of those guys who, like, if his face fit and was like got a bit of rub of a green, probably would have had a different career. I feel like I remember this guy being in a lot of close fights. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, the Mares fight was definitely fucking crazy. Yeah, I remember Yakubu Amidu, sorry. Yeah, that name rings a bell. I want to Google that. I don't know why, yeah. But sometimes I'm kind of interested in, like, just looking back at old journeyman, like from back in the day. I don't know why. I just find it interesting. But yeah, there's been certain foreign imports who have always been shipped over to the UK for our prospects to fight, and you'll see these guys turn up time and time again. Isaac Latte, yeah, I do, yeah. It's fucking scammer, man. Nah, so when Hergovich turned pro, I was high on him. From what I saw in the amateurs, but I think he's gone backwards. I don't think he seems as dynamic as he once was. To me, it looks like he's regressed. As I was saying earlier, in the amateurs, he reminded me of Vitaly Klitschko in a sense. His kind of lean back style, lead hand, controlling his opponents, relatively athletic, but he seems to have gone backwards. Don't think he's developed. So, am I high on him? Not really. Is he decent? Yeah, I guess so. Could he beat Dubois? Yeah, but could he lose that fight? Yeah. I see that fight right now as pretty much a 50-50. I find it hard to call. Maybe I'd lean towards Hergovich, but I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's that, bro. I wouldn't be surprised, Sven. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think we just need to make a video on Journeyman, like fucking, like the best, like the most beloved Journeyman, or the best Journeyman to ever, like, fucking. I don't know. I like the whole Journeyman side to boxing. I do, especially the Journeyman who, like, not the Journeyman who, like, lay down after one shot or, like, don't come to fight at all. I like the Journeyman who come to give it a bit of a go. So, like, a guy like Kamil Sakalowski, I just got a lot of respect for guys like that. He wasn't great, but always turned up in shape. Always turned up in shape. Kevin Johnson's turned into a pretty good journeyman, but the issue for him is he doesn't really come to win. Chisora's the best journeyman in the heavyweight division right now, yeah. But I think Chisora is almost still too high of a level to be a journeyman. So you wouldn't put Chisora in with like Johnny Fisher, for example. Do you know what I mean? Because he'd smash Johnny Fisher now, even now. Yeah, Sokolowski, yeah, he got robbed several times, notably against David Adelaide. Yeah, facts. Great question. Who is the best British fighter never to be a world champion? Probably Harold Graham, right? Probably Harold Graham. Has to be Harold Graham. Didn't that guy like stand Eubank Senior on his head in sparring? I completely schooled him. See that Kamil Sakalowski guy is he turned to bare knuckle boxing as well. He starched some guy in one round in his first fight. He's probably going to be good at bare knuckle, by the way. He's probably going to be good at bare knuckle. He's probably suited to bare knuckle, to be honest, Sakalowski. Can earn a bit of money there as well. Can earn a bit of money there. Was Vladimir Klitschko always mentally weak? I found him versus Fury press conference and face-offs interesting. That's a great question. There's been a lot of talk about Vladimir's toughness and mental fragility or lack of mental toughness. I actually think there's a difference between mental toughness and physical toughness. I feel like Vladimir is one of those guys who probably lived in his head way too much. And he kind of compounded the self-doubt in his mind by overthinking things. One thing I'll say about Vladimir, though, every single one of his losses, you can't blame on a lack of heart, I don't think. Like the bad losses. So like, you know, the Corey Sanders fight or the Brewster fight. I don't think those were down to a lack of heart, or the AJ fight. Like he tried to fight on kind of thing. Like he tried to keep going, but I don't think physically it was necessarily a problem. But I think mentally probably got in his own head too much. I liked Vitali. I liked Vitali a lot. Vladimir, not particularly, to be honest with you. And also, I have to, when it comes to these fighters, I try to like avoid the personal side of things, but I've always found the Klitschko brothers to be very dislikable in regards to their personalities, how they come across. For me, their energy just seems off. Just way off. Particularly Vladimir, by the way, even though Vitali is the politician, but especially Vladimir. There's something about their energy that I just find very off-putting. Kevin Mitchell was a very talented fighter. Kevin Mitchell was very talented, but drink and drugs got to him. Good fighter. Because when he fought Ricky Burns, a lot of people felt he was going to beat Burns. I'll admit it as well, including myself. I felt the time had come for Kevin Mitchell to finally realise his potential, but it turned out to be one of Ricky's best performances. Yeah, they're definitely part of that crew. Crazy. They're definitely part of that crew. And I always had that opinion, like, they've always seemed shifty to me. Very shifty. Yeah, I should have a schedule, man, but I just feel like these days, man, boxing is it's something I haven't put as much time into, to be honest with you. Not for any specific reason aside from there's just not many fights capturing my attention right now. But yeah, I need to do some more things like get Nordic on at some point. Yeah, Macklin was a tough guy. Like that Macklin, Lee, Martin Murray, Darren Barker era, we never got any of those fights, man. I wasn't, man. I really wasn't with Vladimir. He just seems like that sort of guy. Because he doesn't believe in it. But he just seems like that sort of guy, like a proper fucking snake, fucking smarmy guy. There's something very sinister about the Klitschko brothers, especially Vladimir. Just how I've always kind of viewed them. I separate that from the fighters. Like Vitali was good to watch, and they were both very good fighters. I try to separate it. But I don't like the Klitschko brothers as people. But there's very few fighters I do like as people, to be honest. But I just find the Klitschko brothers especially dislikable. Mainly Vlad though. Mainly Vlad. I just see as crazy as it sounds, I don't mean this literally either. But I see the reptilian in Vladimir. I don't mean that literally. Yeah, Bellew's another weirdo. You know I don't like Bellew. Bellew's more in your face with it than like a Vladimir. Bellew is just like obnoxious, but I don't think he's sinister. Vladimir just comes across as sinister to me. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. No, nobody was giving Audley a chance, from what I remember. He won it against some like unknown American guy. John Thompson or something Thompson, some unknown guy who never fought again. Pretty certain. I like Joseph Parker, yeah. I think it's just because he looks like a Russian villain. I don't think it's that, bro. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. Like before Tyson, like when one Tyson Fury obviously he sold out, obviously. But when Deontay Wilder, before the first fight, this was during the face-off. So they did like a sit-down, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And, both guys were talking about the upcoming fight. And they was talking about how like they got motivated for the fights, and Deontay was talking about his alter egos and his ancestors and things like that. And Tyson turned around and said, "I've already beaten you. I beat you in Germany. I don't need no alter ego. All I need is Jesus Christ." And he was kind of like insinuating that, like that there was like some devil shit there. That's what I read into it anyway. That's how I read into it. But obviously Fury went the way he did. He sold out, so But this was at the time when Fury just come back, and we was just getting, it was turning apparent that Fury was selling out. But he would say things now and again. Like drop little hints. But now he's totally sold out. Yeah, Fury's turned very unlikable. Tyson Fury could have been somebody as well, very significant, I think. I think he could have been someone very significant. In regards to speaking on certain issues, but he kind of threw that away. And that's probably why he got his ticket back, to be honest with you. Probably got sat down and, was told this is the way it's going to be. Maybe not like that directly, but he's probably let know how it's going to be. Yeah, probably. Wilder's up there, Emu. That's one of the most deluded boxers, no doubt. All of these guys are delusional to a certain level. I think you have to be, but yeah, the desire for big money and fame got to Fury. Yeah, I think so. I find it hard to judge AJ because I don't know I don't even know what the real AJ is. Like, he's been a corporate thing for his whole fucking career, man. It's like he tries to appeal to every audience, yet he doesn't realize he's alienating other audiences when he does that sometimes. Like this. And Ngannou versus Valiev. Bro, we got Valiev, man, early knockout. Basically, yeah, he's like an NPC, AJ. He's like an NPC. There's not many fighters who I don't know. There's just not many fighters I like or I can listen to talk. There's very few. I can't think of many. I could listen to somebody like Khabib talk in MMA. Like, he makes sense when he speaks about just life in general. Like, he makes sense. Like, you can tell that's just his opinion or that's what he thinks when he speaks. But there's very few people in boxing that I get that impression from, to be honest. That's one thing about MMA I will give them credit for. It feels like in MMA, a lot of the personalities are a lot more authentic. There's a lot of fakes there as well, don't get me wrong, but I feel like a lot of those guys are more authentic to themselves. I just feel like boxing's stuck in this time warp where these guys have to act like a certain way, or they feel like they have to act a certain way to sell tickets or whatever. I don't know what it is. Yeah, but Turbiev's likable. He doesn't really say much. He's a soft-spoken guy. But he's respectful, but, stoic. Gives his opponents credit, but still remains confident. But not, overly confident. He's not, egotistical. Yeah, I like Beterbiev. I like Bivol. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, Wallin quit against AJ. Yeah, absolutely. Usyk's likable. Yeah, I like Usyk. Tell you one person I don't like that much is Lomachenko as a person. He comes across to me smarmy as well. There's something about him that rubs me up the wrong way as well. There's not many fighters I like as people. And a lot of it is me just basing it on intuition. Sometimes there's not an obvious reason for why I don't like somebody. I just get an impression and I'll just ride with it. Because usually that doesn't go wrong in real life. So I kind of treat these fighters the same. Yeah, Dillian was right when he said about AJ that he was a fake. But I think we could all see that. I actually, I actually think Dillian White, as much as I find his fanboys were fucking annoying, but I think outside of boxing, I think he'd be probably all right to hang around with, like have a drink with. I think he'd be all right. Mickey Ward would be nice, yeah. Mickey Ward, he's one of those guys you could probably sit down, have a few pints with, and he's got stories for days. Yeah, Zhili Zhang seems like a cool guy. I'm not going to lie. Zhili Zhang seems like a cool guy. Yeah, Dillian White definitely has that side to him, but I just feel like he's more authentic, to be honest. Well, I think he is what he is, basically. I feel like there's thugs and there's thugs. So what I mean by that is there's thugs who will fly off the handle if you antagonize them. But I feel like there's certain thugs that if you're like, I don't know, just genuine, they're not going to fuck you over. Does that make sense? They're not going to fuck with somebody that doesn't fuck with them, basically. That makes sense. I feel like Dillian White probably fits in that category. I'd like to go for a Chinese with Zhili Zhang. You may have to order like fucking 4 Chineses for that guy. He's another guy, man, with a lot of Masonic fucking undertones to his like merchandise, his logos and shit. He's another guy that's a weirdo. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at, Sven. I don't think Dillian White comes across as a bully. I don't think Dillian White comes across as a bully, to be honest. Probably well, he was a scumbag in his youth, but you know, I don't think he comes across as a bully per se. Yeah, Pulev again. Pulev seems like another one of those guys. You have a few rakias, get a few shots down here. He'd be a good laugh as well. I reckon that guy's about it though as well. I reckon he'll fucking let his hands go if the opportunity presents itself. You know that guy wouldn't take no shit. Huey Fury is fighting, bro. Huey Fury's fighting soon. He's fighting on some random card. Hang on, let's have a look. He was scheduled to fight. Okay, so he's fighting in Rotherham on the 20th of April. Unknown opponent. Unknown opponent. Yeah, Pule, yeah, I remember, yeah. Yeah, I think Moses Atama has ability, has talent, but he's very young, so a lot of that's going to be dependent on matchmaking. You know, getting him the right fights and right learning fights. Yeah, Pulev seems pretty nice. Seems pretty cool. Huey Fury's another one, though. He seems like a nice guy. Dillian bullying John Fury. John Fury, to me, is another guy who's very dislikable. Again, not from like a super sinister... Mind you, I can't say not sinister because he fucking gouged the guy's eye out. But just so obnoxious, that guy. So obnoxious. No, I don't think that's a good look, JD. If you're a heavyweight fucking champion or a former heavyweight champion, you should not let some pencil-necked fucking geek get under your skin like that to the point where you're that rattled. It's not a good look. Do you think Beterbiev would do something like that? Do you know what I mean? I don't think even a guy like a psycho in like John Jones in the UFC would do something like that. Nah, bro, Canelo's not going to fight Benavidez. It's not going to happen. He is, yeah. He's too much. He's too sensitive, man. If I was 6'5", knocking people's spark out, former heavyweight champion, multi-millionaire, who's probably fucking ran through more chicks than fucking God knows what, I wouldn't care what some fucking little pussy at fucking Oxford Uni said about me. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how like you can be somebody in a position where like the majority of feedback you get is positive. Like most people are going to want a piece of you, but like you fixate on the negative. It's weird to me. Okay, is that Loughborough? Okay, yeah. Fucking same thing, man. All these unis are Ponzi. Or a lot of them are anyway. If AJ had my comment sections, he would go off his head. Yeah, Nordic's going to be turning up at people's fucking workplaces soon. And universities and schools. He's going to be turning up. And if you got in that position with AJ, I'd kind of want him to throw a punch to sue the fuck out of him. That's what you should do if you're in that position. If you was one of those students, you should have like antagonized him, like major. Try to antagonize him and get fucking clocked. Then he'd sue the guy. Definitely. This homo thing like gets banded around a lot. I'll show up at Michael's restaurant and give him a Punisher interrogation. We need to get that on pay-per-view. That could be the first YTBC boxing event, like the headliner. Nordic Warrior versus fucking Emperor Michael. Pay-per-view. I would watch it. I would pay for it, Nordic. I'd pay for it. I'd pay 15 British sterling to watch that fight. I think he's got a kid, hasn't he, AJ? I swear he's got a kid. Could be wrong on that, to be honest. Yeah, we can make a YTBC belt. I'll tell everybody I'm the champion. You would technically be a world champion. You would technically be a world champion. The inaugural champion. Then just sit on it for like 5 years like Manuel Char. Don't defend. Sit on it for like 5 years. Oh yeah, AJ in the right fights is entertaining. AJ's a weird case though because like his fans are like so fucking annoying. Like they overrate him so much, but the people who are like really dislike Joshua, I like the other way. I feel like with Joshua, he's one of those fighters where you can't really have a sensible conversation about him because people are too emotionally invested either way. What AJ is a very good heavyweight, but he's just not the guy that his fanboys painted him out to be. Yeah, that's what I'd want to see from Nordic. He beats Emperor Michael, then he just sits on the belt for ages. I think he's better as a come forward guy, a risk taking boxer puncher. That's when I think AJ's at his best, or historically, that's when he's got his best results. But I liked what I saw in the Varlin fight. I liked the approach. The Ngannou fight I can't read into because it's Ngannou. We'll see though. We'll see. We'll see what he does next. But yeah, AJ, it's like a lot of fighters in boxing. When it comes to these sort of like high level, well known fighters, they're so like, I don't know, a lot of people are so emotionally attached or involved. It's hard to have discussions about these fighters. Like you're either a bum or you're the greatest of all time to some people. Yeah, that's the thing. That's going to be the test, bro, when he gets cracked. I don't see what, like. So he says he wants to stay active. If I was him, I would fight Ruiz again to try and get a fucking proper knockout win over that guy because Ruiz has been so inactive. He's probably available to be knocked out right now. Ruiz is done. Yeah, bro, that was crazy to me, bro. After that fight, the reaction was crazy. Oh, AJ's the baddest man on the planet. He's back because he knocked out an MMA fighter. That's what I'm talking about, bro. The levels of like hysteria surrounding AJ is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, so for me with AJ, I liked the approach with Varlene. I wasn't convinced about Franklin, that performance. I wasn't convinced about the Hellenius performance, and I disregard the Ngannou performance. I was impressed though with the approach he took in the Varlene fight. I felt he looked a lot more assured. But even then, like, it's nothing to write home about in regards to the quality of opponent. Again, this is where I have an issue with the whole Joshua talk because so many people before that fight rated Varlene. I never did. Like, I've been very consistent on Varlene. I've never rated that guy that highly. I've always said like Tyson Fury made that guy look good, and you'll see this guy get beat decisively by AJ. For me, it was more so the attitude that he's shown and the confidence. I was impressed with that aspect of Joshua's game in that fight, but I expected him to beat Varlene decisively. Yeah, bro. Yeah, he looked terrible in the Ortiz fight, and people listen. This is another thing with Wilder, right? Because Ortiz is synonymous with Wilder. Oh, Ortiz is a bum, bro. If Ortiz wasn't an old man, he would have beaten Ruiz. Because he was winning the majority of rounds when he wasn't getting dropped. He was just so fucking old, he had no balance. Ortiz a couple of years ago would have beaten Ruiz. Again, Ortiz was another one. These retard Wilder fanboys. Oh, he's the second best heavyweight in the world after Wilder beat him. No, Ortiz in his prime was a good contender. That's what he was. He was a good contender that by the time he got his shot, he was a bit too old. But you can't say the Ortiz who beat fucking Jennings wasn't a good fighter. He was a good contender, but it's like anything, man. In the heavyweight division with these A-level fighters, there's so much hysteria. So much hysteria. But Ruiz is fucking overrated. He's one guy who is bang overrated. Andy Ruiz. So overrated. He caught AJ, good win, but it was a once in a lifetime type of win. Buster Douglas type of settings. Ruiz could become a hot dog eating champion or a pie eating champion, a taco eating champion, a Corona downing champion. Exactly, yeah, bro. Ortiz was coming off a tough fight with Charles Martin. Yeah, Ortiz was done, bro. But he still had enough to give Ruiz a really hard fight. And again, if he wasn't on his ass so many times, he'd have probably won that fight. Because if you go back and watch that fight and look at the rounds individually, Ortiz won a lot of rounds just based on his lead hand. Even that reptile Klitschko said about Luis Ortiz, while Vladimir was still active, he was saying like he rated Ortiz. Ortiz was a decent fighter, but he just got too old. He has, yeah. Or Ruiz has done well for a morbidly obese guy, yeah, he has. But I never really saw there is talent there with Ruiz, but like I never saw this precocious talent that people were talking about. He had ability to a certain degree, but he was always limited, particularly with his feet and his size in general. Yeah, and we need to see that again, Emu. We need to see AJ in that position again to see how he reacts, to see just to see how much he has learned or hasn't learned. That's what we need to see. We need to see that sort of fight, but obviously Fury and Usyk are fighting next. Who's out there for him that could give him that if he's going to fight again in between? Who's there? Looks like Hrgovic is fighting Dubois. So those guys are out. Zhang is fighting Wilder. So who's really there? Yeah, his feet are terrible, particularly in regards to speed. Do I watch Richard Dwyer? The opinions you should follow should be your own. Do I watch Richard Dwyer? Not really, but now and again I'll switch him on. I kind of like... There was one video years ago, man, where he was like... Because he does like betting videos. And he was giving betting tips. And all you saw... Fucking guy on a motorbike. So he's giving betting tips in regards to a certain fight. And all you saw in the background was like a load of boxes. Like he was selling shit. It was just looked so funny. But I think Dwyer is... Dwyer has wild fucking takes. Wild fucking takes. But you can't say he's not entertaining. You can't say he's not entertaining. And I just think he comes across quite... I don't know, like a decent guy. But I think he makes these videos from a betting perspective. But I just think he always comes across likable. I always think he comes across quite likable, but that's just my opinion. I think he'll be, I don't know, he's got a knack of like reeling you in. The opinions you should follow should be your own. So take this video to be, what was it? Take this video to be I don't know what it was, but it's fucking funny. I might watch it. The opinion you should follow should be your own. So take this video to be well, I don't know what the fucking thing was, but it's fucking funny. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. A complete stranger online. You listen, man. He's a bit of a fucking. He's one of the OG boxing YouTubers. Yeah, exactly, bro. The way Dwyer pauses every so often, and just stares into the void is hilarious. Bro, he is fucking funny. How he talks about like Huey Fury, bro. Random fighters he'll talk so like he'll make out like they're the next fucking Larry Holmes. I don't think he is a troll. I don't think he is a troll. If he's a troll, he is the greatest troll in YTBC history, bar none. Not close. Not close at all. If he's a troll, he is amazing. He's an amazing troll, if he is. Okay, he picked Usyk over Fury. Okay, he's winning me back over. He's winning me back over. We've been going for a while. He was convinced James DeGale was pound for pound number one, and he picked him over Pacquiao. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Are you making this up? It's so like believable. He made multiple videos picking Tony Thompson over Vladimir. See, that's one thing about Dwyer, though. Dwyer's going to make picks, right? And he knows certain people online, when it comes to boxing, they make picks out over like tribal bias. I don't think Dwyer does that. That's one thing I'll say for Dwyer. I don't think Dwyer does that. He's convinced Hamza Shiraz beats Canelo. I'm not even a Canelo fan, bro, but fuck me. Oh, I need to go back and watch Dwyer. We need to do a Dwyer reaction stream at some point. Something a bit different. I'll probably get done for copyright, but this is what I mean, bro. Yeah, Dwyer was talking about Nathan Gorman like he had Larry Holmes type of skills. Bro, this is what I love about Dwyer. I think Nick Ball has a puncher's chance. Saint, I think he's got a puncher's chance. And maybe the swarming style could give Ford a lot of issues. I think Ford is a better natural boxer, though. And he showed he can dig deep late in his last fight. So I'd probably go Ford on points, close. Ford on points. Yeah, exactly. He thought Solis was the best heavyweight. Yeah, he picked him to beat Vitali. I remember that. I got Valdez. Valdez might be cooked. I'm going to still go Valdez, but that's going to be a good fight. Yeah, bro, if Dwyer made the bets he spoke about, he would be fucking broke as a joke. Honestly. But I don't know, man. I like Dwyer. I just find him entertaining. Nah, bro, he's still in fucking Dubai or somewhere like that. Or like Saudi Arabia. He's long gone, bro. He ain't coming back anytime soon. Big DK is he's out in the Middle East, I think. Doubt he gets caught anytime soon. He could get caught, but doubt it happens anytime soon. The opinion you should follow should be your own. So take this video to be a fucking opinion from a complete stranger online. Yeah, go for it, Sven. There's some classics he's got. He's got some classics. He's got a lot of classic takes. Bro, why hasn't somebody made a fucking compilation video of Dwyer? Surely there has to be one. Surely. No, there's not. That's disappointing. Yeah, he's got the ASMR voice. He's got that kind of like he could read like an audiobook, Dwyer. Yeah, Richard Dwyer, yeah. He could read an audiobook. He made one years ago and got copyright claims. Hang on 1 second. But yeah, he could make good money reading an audiobook. To be fair, I think the claim was because I had Pacquiao Margarito footage in the video. Did he pick Margarito to beat Pacquiao? In fairness, I will stick up for Dwyer on that one. At the time, that was seen as such a big leap up in weight. I can see why somebody would pick Margarito. I can see why. To be honest, I know in hindsight that sounds dumb as fuck, But I'm just talking about what people were saying at the time. There was a fair few people picking Margarito, from what I remember. That was very early in my when I really started getting interested in boxing, but I remember a lot of people picking Margarito. Fucking hell. He picked Oscar, Mosley, and a bunch of other guys. I don't understand the Mosley one. But again, even people. So the De La Hoya one's interesting. In retrospect, people act like that was a foregone conclusion going in. Fucking loads of people were picking De La Hoya to beat Pacquiao. Loads of people back then. And like in retrospect, after that fight happened, people accused Manny Pacquiao of draining De La Hoya when that's not what happened. De La Hoya had a contracted rematch with Mayweather. So if Mayweather won, he had a rematch clause. Mayweather won the first fight at 54. And the rematch clause stated if Mayweather won, he could have a rematch at 147. So De La Hoya was training to get down to 147. He fought Steve Forbes at 150 in the interim, getting himself down. The Mayweather rematch never happened at 147. Mayweather retired. And then Pacquiao stepped in at 147. That's how that fight came about. People act like Pacquiao said, you have to fight me at 147, blah, 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 blah. That's not what happened. De La Hoya was the A side for Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, Oscar was a favourite, yeah. He picked Joe Hanks over Joe Joyce. Jesus Christ, Dwyer. But yeah, the whole it's weird things in boxing that people get very revisionist over. The Pacquiao Oscar De La Hoya fight is one of them. They get very revisionist over that fight with how it transpired and what went down. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying being at 147 was good for De La Hoya, because it clearly wasn't, but yeah, I think it's a dangerous fight, Daniel, for Tim Tszyu. I think Keith Thurman's an easier fight for Tim Tszyu than Sebastian Fundora. The opinion you should follow should be your own. So take this video to be a complete an opinion from a complete stranger online. He does have the best intro of all time. I forgot what it was though. Hang on. So I'll listen to one of them. He's been going for such a long time, Dwyer, as well. His oldest video is 15 years ago. Has he got rid of his intro? Yeah, hey, okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Just consider this video to be an opinion from a complete stranger online. There you go. Complete stranger online. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. I think he'll go rounds, bro. I think he'll go rounds waved. I just think Wardley will take him out late. We'll see what Dwyer has to say about this fight. I ain't gonna lie. Clark versus Wardley. Let me just say, I like how he also like starts certain videos with like a complete random tidbit. Like the date is the 21st of March. I'm coming at you from West Coast of the USA. Like random shit. Okay, so Dwyer thinks Wardley wins. Okay, I agree as well. What you should do, if I was a multi-millionaire, like let's say I had like 100 million net worth, I'd take 100 grand and follow every single one of Dwyer's betting tips and see where I ended up, just as like a social experiment. I'd follow every single one of his tips and picks in boxing. See where we end up. I've got Marku, I think. I think Marku. I wouldn't be surprised, Sven, if he picked Charles Martin. Sounds like something Dwyer would say. Okay, 1 second. I don't know what the odds are for this fight. I'm kind of interested to see the odds for this Wardley Clark fight. Yeah, Wardley's a big favourite, 4-9, 2-5. Sounded like Dwyer out here. I mean, maybe some people overrate him, but I think more Mike Tyson's impact was more cultural as well. So I think naturally that makes him, maybe people overestimate him, but he was a very good fighter, Tyson. In terms of skills and like pure talent, Tyson is right up there, in my opinion. Maybe he doesn't have a resume to show it necessarily, but in terms of talent, sheer talent, Tyson was up there. Campbell Hatton versus Emperor Michael. Emperor Michael's too big, too strong, bro. Too big, too strong for Campbell Hatton. But anyway, I need to wrap this up, man. We've been going way too fucking long. Way too long. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll try and make this more regular if I can, depending on what happens in boxing. Ideally, I'd like to make one before the Ryan Garcia-Devin Haney fight. Can I do a G-Man impression? I'll talk to you. I can't do an Irish accent. I can't. But yeah, I'm wrapping it up, guys. I'm wrapping it up. Have a good one. Have a good evening. And have a good rest of your week. Stay safe, guys. Peace out, and I'll catch you later. Peace.